forgot something mentioned last time as well. With the tattoos and that, obviously with this being a fantasy thing with like healing potions and stuff, after they gave you the tattoo, they kind of rub it with the healing self, so it'll kind of just heal up in a few minutes instead of taking like weeks like a normal tattoo. Let's say a few hours instead of weeks like a normal tattoo would take.
I gave you a herbal remedy balm.
Here, that's very cool.
So there you go. Just FYI, that might come into play today or not.
All right.
Just something I
All
forgot
right.
to mention.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
No, just in general, something I forgot. Something I forgot to mention that the I said the two main people that were there wearing like togas. I forgot to say they've got like full sleeves as well, just like different tattoos and that, which I completely forgot to mention as well.
Ah, all right. All
Yeah,
right.
2 full sleeves, and the guy had like a you can see the top of it had two sticking up kind of on his shoulder where you can't see quite what it was over the kind of just a little piece sticking out under the toga. But yeah, something I forgot to mention last time, but hey, that's where it goes.
Anybody need a refresher?
I'm just driving Sandpoint. That was pretty much it.
Yeah, I think that's where we were. I don't think there was anything else.
I always just ask, in case.
All good on my side too.
Okay, so something we didn't mention in the last session when we finished up is that Ivara and her guide were on the boat with you guys. The only one who wasn't there that you would know is Norbash. He did not accompany you on this boat ride to Sandpoint.
No, it's a ship, but okay.
Okay, and then yeah, so as soon as you guys get off, you'll see that the Ivara and Zikara would be kind of heading towards another ship, and then Ivara would stop and look back at you guys and just say, "Until we meet again, friends. It was good traveling with you."
Safe travels, Ivara. Until we meet again.
I would also just like to add, I don't think I took it off my character sheet, but she wasn't with us when this happened. I gave her the ring, correct? Just to clarify.
Probably on the boat ride, yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it feels so weird to have so few screens open suddenly.
And she's also quite keen to get the tattoo, but Zikara told her she can do that back home, so she doesn't have a tattoo yet.
Cool.
Anything anybody wants to say to Vara before she leaves, or is that gonna be it?
I think also just a goodbye.
So long, it's been nice knowing you.
Big hug and a kiss goodbye.
Wow.
Whoa.
Interesting from Alpha.
No, not really.
But when you guys say goodbye, the guide with Zikara walks closer to Oryn and just says, "We'll probably see you in our homeland again, and I hope the Keres Mark treats you well." And then she walks off.
Oryn obviously in her head is probably just going to be like, well, it hasn't thus far, and it probably never will. So, let's not. Don't hold your breath. Oryn is probably just going to nod her head, wave goodbye, not say anything. Again, just trying to avoid the topic.
Okay, so it is quite early in the morning, like the sun has just come up early in the morning, and you see that Zikara and Ivara both walk from one part of the docks to the next and get onto a second boat. This boat seems to be strange to most of you, but Akari would tell you it's a Tian ship, so a ship from her hometown.
Cool. You guys notice there's a picture, kind of a picture in the chat. There's a picture of Sandpoint, and then the Sandpoint welcoming sign, which is at the entrance to the town from the road. Sorry.
Is there anything anybody would like to do right now in Sandpoint?
When do we have to meet Gregor in the something or the other? Isn't
Rusty
it?
Dragon.
Rusty Dragon, there we go.
It is the only marked building on the map. Marked with the color.
So number 37 on the map looks like the red ringed. Where are we? Where the little cog is?
Yeah.
Okay. Did he give us a time? I can't remember, sorry.
I think he just said he'll be waiting at the inn.
Cool, cool. Does anybody want to stop for anything on the way or explore Sandpoint? Do we know? Does anybody else know Sandpoint? Because I obviously don't.
Does Lillith ask, or are you asking as the player?
I'm asking the team. I don't know this town, so does anybody else know the town?
Akari knows the town quite well.
I was going to say, besides that, most people would know who have lived kind of even vaguely in the area that there is a local legend about the Sandpoint Devil, which is some kind of weird creature cross between a horse and a dragon, they call it, which apparently roams the city and the surroundings.
So Akari is going to say that she knows where the Rusty Dragon is. And then she's just going to ask, is there any business anybody else wants to handle off before we head to the Rusty Dragon?
There's shops that are available around here too, just mentioning.
Temples, all that kind of thing as well, yeah.
What kind of shops?
I was scared of that.
I'm just curious, I promise. Just curious.
What store are you looking for?
I'm not
What do you
looking.
want to buy?
I just thought I'd just like I say, there's no I'm not asking because I want to shop more. Just out of curiosity, what is there?
It is a trading village by nature, so they have most trade goods. They do have a small barracks as well, so they have armory, blacksmith, that kind of thing, but it's not known for weapons. It's more trading city, so it's got trade goods. Can probably get different foods from different places and different delicacies and stuff like that, because this is a central hub for trade into Venetia.
If you
Are we still in need of anything? I am asking the team, FYI.
we didn't do very well with magic goods last time, if I remember correctly.
I can't really use magic as far as I know.
Why not?
I don't have anything magical.
You
Oh,
have a
other than
quiver.
the quiver, yes, the quiver, but I don't have like potions or anything like that.
Can use magic, you're just not a magic caster.
Yeah.
So you
So
can
I
use
can have
magical items and all of
I
that.
can have potions and that, but I can't actually do needle darts.
Yes. Exactly.
Cool. Is Oryn looking for anything, or Akari, any magic item things then, if you're sort of pointedly telling us we short of magic items?
No, not at all. I'm just saying you did those the two shops you guys didn't really get much to do with, is all I'm trying to say. That's all. The other shops you pretty much got good stuff from, just those two didn't get much from. I'm not saying you need anything at all. I'm just mentioning.
I still haven't organized my spells considering we had a long rest last time.
You can go
So
ahead and do that
apologies
now.
if I am quiet. I'm just busy trying to sort that out.
No problem at all. No problem. Does Alpha want to go anywhere specific?
No.
Lilith?
I don't think so. Only thing I can think of, I did get the potion to create fire arrows by tipping the tip. Well, tipping. Let's try that again. Dipping the tips of the arrows into that little mixture.
Great.
Okay, I did get that. So then
Yeah.
I think I'm good as well. Thank you.
So Akari leads you down Water Road. It's this road here. And this building here, right, is the local, what can I call it? Like a it's kind of where they pay the bounties and stuff out of, pretty much. So it's like a
Bounty hunter's
treasury.
office?
It's more like a treasury,
Okay.
to be fair. A sheriff walks out and then nails to the wall, stating the paper looks quite old, but it's a bounty on goblins. 10 gold for each goblin ear, and then you see marked at the bottom, like scribbled on quite quickly, it says 200 gold for the head of Gut Wattle, leader of the Licktoad clan.
Oh my heart.
And then Akari keeps walking further. Anybody wants to stop to take or ask the the sheriff about that, or are you guys just gonna keep going on?
Are we allowed to take the actual paper, the bounty paper?
He has a whole bunch with him, so if you want one, you can just ask him for one. He's like
Um,
carrying a whole stack of them, clearly going out to pin them up around the city.
Does the paper say anything about where they last were or last seen or anything like that?
It says that they've been raiding trade routes and caravans, but they are in the Brine Stump Marsh.
Okay.
Exact location,
Dun,
not
dun,
known.
dun.
Alpha is gonna immediately, when he sees that, ask for bounty paper to keep.
Sure thing, lad. And he hands you one, and then he walks off. You want to ask him anything else, or just the paper?
Yeah, Alpha will ask him, where were these goblins last spotted?
They've been harassing most of the caravans. That's why we've been resorting to trade via sea recently. But again, it's becoming a bigger problem for local merchants. And that's why we're reinstating the Sandpoint Goblin bounty. And as for the Licktoads, don't know what got into them to give them this extra boost of courage. They've never been such a big nuisance. And other than that, we don't really know, except that it's in the Brine Stump Marsh.
Alpha's gonna give a little bow with his helmet, and then put the piece of paper in between his chest and his
Into his breastplate.
breastplate. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Akari kind of waits for that all to finish, and then she continues down the road. As you reach the corner of what is Market Street, somebody runs up and hugs Akari and says, "It's been a while. Glad that you're safe. Welcome back to Sandpoint."
Dun, dun, dun.
Anybody want to ask anything?
That'd be rude. Introduce.
Akari's busy speaking to her, like, yeah, it's good to
Okay.
see you, whatever. She's
Exactly. Don't be rude. Introduce. Come on.
So once
I'm at this. Oh, sorry. You go.
yeah, go for it.
I was gonna say, I'm at this point. I'm so afraid to ask who Akari knows and doesn't know, and for what purpose she knows him. Because I'm worried that if I even open my mouth at this point, my head's gonna get chopped off as well.
I kind of feel exactly the same way. So I'm sort of hanging close, sort of behind Alpha-ish, just in case.
So
I'm gonna say, don't be so paranoid. Part 1 and Part 2. Have you rolled your next character yet?
so eventually Akari steps back and says, Amika, let me introduce you to my friends. And then she turns around and sees Alpha first, and the rest kind of behind him, and says, well, this metal man is Alpha. And behind him would be Oryn and Lillith. Amika walks closer and holds out her hand to Alpha. Nice to meet you.
As in as a handshake.
Yes.
Okay, Alpha will awkwardly shake her hand. I take it it's a
Just
she.
look- Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
You still got fabulous shock.
Yeah.
We have to tell you something. Sorry, this is out of game.
Mm-hmm.
We
I'm
saw a
listening.
woman today that looked exactly like Fabulous in a boutique. And I
You
was like,
are
I
pulling
walked
me.
in. I am not, I swear to you, I walked in and I had to do a double take because I just saw this woman standing behind the counter. She had this big red, like bright fire truck red coat on with like a fur, also red collar with short blonde hair, and her face, she had very elaborate makeup, but her face, it was like, I honestly, I couldn't actually tell if it was a man or a woman, but I was like, I walked in and I almost said, Fabulous? Is that you? I wanted to take a picture if I didn't look like a creep, but I called Armand into the shop and I was like, please tell me I'm not going crazy, but Fabulous is in that shop.
Good on you. Life imitating art and all that.
It was wild. But anyway, sorry, I thought I'd rather just tell you guys.
Okay.
And
all
Mont,
good.
they didn't ask you to be measured for anything.
Not this time.
Yeah.
So Akari looks at the rest of you and says, well, this is Amiko. She owns the Rusty Dragon.
Pleased to meet you, amigo. Any friend of Kari's a friend of ours?
We hope.
Yes, I've still got the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland picture in my head here.
And then Amiko's going to say, well, I believe a friend of yours is waiting at the Rusty Dragon. Gregor?
Well, we better get going.
So
I don't know about anyone else.
she walks to the Rusty Dragon, and the rest of you follow, I take it?
Yep.
Okay, now, the Rusty Dragon is one of the largest structures in Sandpoint. Also its oldest inn. It's got its name pretty much from this iron statue of a bronze dragon that is put on the building's roof. It's very beautiful. It works as a lightning rod, but it is also incredibly badly rusted.
Hence the Rusty Dragon, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna have everybody in now. Just give me a second. And then I can't forget to add in
Lillith.
Oh, she's in.
I don't see it.
Oryn as well. I see Silas and I see Alpha, and
Oh,
then
there's Lillith. She's under my. Okay, never mind.
okay,
She's under
sorry.
my
Remember,
sorry,
they're
she was
staying
under
behind
my.
Alpha, so I'm
Yeah,
moving them
sorry, she was
deliberately.
under my toolbar. That's why I couldn't see her.
The horse on the ship as well.
Of course, yes.
Righty then.
Why wouldn't
Sorry, the mount, Alpha's mount. Let me just get it right.
They did have carry horses on ships. Hence where the horse latitudes got their name from. In case anyone doesn't know, that's where there's not very much wind. So they call the horse latitudes because if there wasn't wind for a few days, they'd throw the horses overboard to make the ship lighter so that they could row out.
Sad but true.
On that cheery note, is everybody going to head into the Roasted Dragon?
I think the entrance would be here. Oops. Entrance would be here, yeah.
Well, yeah, I suppose we're meeting Gregor inside, aren't we? That was the message.
So Amika walks in, kind of holds the door open for you guys, and Akari walks in with his summon.
And just Gregor was sitting at a table and he kind of sees you coming in and starts heading towards you. With Gourd.
What are the rest of you doing?
At this point, Oryn is probably going to push past Alpha. Not push, obviously, but like move past him and go in as well with Silas. Kind of like you can see her looking over Akari and Andariel's shoulders, trying to see Gore.
Looking for your firstborn.
Yeah, my first child.
The horse just kind of meanders over to the well, starts drinking some water, and then eating some of the grass around the well.
I'll also go in. I don't necessarily want to be stuck out here by myself, so I'll definitely also go in. I don't mind if I go behind or in front of Alpha. Doesn't really. I don't mind either way.
I'm trying to peep over. We'll do that. There we go. You want to go in?
So, Alpha, are you going to go in as well?
Alpha's gonna just take a few minutes outside with the horse.
Okay, cool. So for those inside, you'd hear Amika say, I have something from someone for you guys. I just need to go find it. And then she walks off to the back room. Clearly going to go find something for you guys.
And as that happens, Gregor will kind of come forward and meet you, and he'll first come and say hello to Akari. He'll just kind of bow to her and Andariel and say, "It is good to see you again. I have missed you much." Then he'll walk across to Oryn, and he'll take her hand and kiss it, and he'll lift you up and then lift up your hand and kind of twirl you around so you can have a look at the outfit you're wearing, like you would with a kind of like a dance thing, like kind of twirl around and go, "This looks good on you. It is always good to see you, Oryn." And Silas, and he kind of taps Silas on the head, and Gourd just kind of he bows to Akari and Andariel as well, and with Oryn he kind of lifts up his hand. It's got the bangle on it that's from her ring. He just kind of waves at her, and then he'll walk across to Lillith, and he put his hand on her shoulder and say, "We have shared a lot, and I think I have something you will like." And Gourd just kind of also just nods his head towards you. Towards, where is Alpha and Ivara, and where are they gone?
Before Gregor goes to Lillith,
Mhm.
Oryn is going to say as well, it's also very good to see you. She's gonna giggle probably if you say the outfit looks nice she's going to bend down to Gourd as well and give him a big hug and say, "Oh, I missed you." She's kind of also just going to nudge Silas forward and say hello. Kind of, I think she has taught him hello in common.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So she's going to, like, say hello. And she's also just going to say to Gregor and Gore, "I have something for you guys. Let me know when you're not busy and I'll give it to you."
Gregor's
Obviously,
gonna say,
because
"Oh,
he's busy saying hello to everyone.
yeah." When he's kind of finished saying hello and asking where Ivora and Alpha goes, "I have a table for us. I have a platter prepared and some drinks all ready for us for waiting your arrival. I must admit I didn't think you'd be here quite this early, but it is all ready if you were not interested. Again, where is Alpha and Ivara? I don't see them here."
Akari is going to point outside so that Alpha is probably still outside. And Ivara left to go back to Kian.
"Oh, that is. It would have been nice to say goodbye, but you say Alpha is outside. Should I go meet him or should we go and sit and wait for him?"
Yeah.
"Maybe he wants some alone time. Maybe we go sit and when he comes in, we can greet him."
I'll just say hi to Gore and Gregor and say it's good to see you in the flesh and not actually have you in my head. And Alpha's outside with his steed. Maybe he'll join us when we're ready. When he's ready.
"I think that is the best idea." And he kind of heads across to the table with Gore.
I like how Gregor's not even a little bit surprised that Alpha just now has a horse. He's like, this is understandable.
A lot could have
Makes
happened
sense.
in the meantime. On the tables, there's kind of like laid out a bunch of vegetarian dishes. There's like skewers with vegetables on them. There's cheeses. There's breads. There we go. It's like the skewers have got like halloumi cheese and mushrooms and onions on them. There's like a like some fruits. There's a bottle of wine, and there is glasses around with wine on it. Again, the platter's kind of enough food for about 5 or 6 people. Excuse me, but all vegetarian stuff. And then Gregor says, "There is something here you should maybe try. It is the house speciality. They call them cheese blossoms. It is artichoke heart that they've filled with a spicy cheese curd mixture. It's very, very good." He shows part of the platter as well. He goes, "When Alpha gets here, you will maybe tell me about your adventures. But while we're waiting, you'll look to let me quickly get my stuff open. Bum, 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 bum.
Just while you're opening stuff, I hope Alpha's gonna leave his little potted mushroom outside if we're having mushroom skewers.
So Alpha, what do you want to do outside while that all's happening?
Alpha's just gonna kind of take a second with the horse.
Yo, bro.
Yo, like adjust if there's any straps, adjust straps. Pet the horse.
There is a stables called in the area called the Crushed Goblin. It's got a picture of a bunch of goblins being run over by a horse on this stand, and that is the stables, the local stables as well.
Is it?
These guys have a serious love insert hate relationship here with goblins.
Is it fairly close to where we are now, or?
It is. It is. It is.
Okay, Alpha's
Further
gonna
up Market Street.
quickly take the horse there.
And while Alpha's busy with the horse, um, Gregor is going to turn to. Let me stop there. Gregor's going to first turn to Akari and Andariel. Say, I have something for you. I thought, seeing as we have been gone so long, as a welcome back. Pity Andariel is not here. I mean, Ivara is not here. And he goes, he takes out a pair of earrings. I'm going to put it into the chat. They're kind of gold. They're kind of like almost like shaped like a dart head. And in the middle, there's a white, like a quartz stone with like gold veins in it. And if you watch, you actually see the veins seem to move slightly. Well, not gold, it's metallic. And they seem to move slightly. And it says, this is for you. As you can see, the veins grow themselves, and you could use it for needle dart. You don't need to get a piece of metal every time. You can choose. You can use both, or put one in your ear and one in the ear of the your summon, should you like. But it will basically be used. You can use for needle dart, and it will keep growing back again. So you don't need to use a piece of metal every time.
That is
Akari,
such a cool gift.
That
Akari
is pretty
bows
nifty.
and says, "Thank you very much, Gregor. We appreciate that." And then she like hooks one on, and for the first time, you can see that Andariel's ears are elongated as well, so they kind of look like elven ears. And she has multiple piercings as well, so Akari just adds it onto her ear, and then she seems to kind of put it into her hair more than on her ear for herself.
And then Gregor will turn to Lillith, and he'll say to her, I need to apologize to you. I have been invading your thoughts without your permission. So what I have for you, and he takes out a necklace with a shell on it. This is for you. With it on,
so
I will not
pretty.
be.
Oh,
With
sorry,
it,
I said that's so pretty.
with it on, I will not be able to contact you without your consent. And should you wish to contact me, you need merely move the shell, and you can contact me whenever you would like. And then he kind of, is Alpha back yet? Can I continue, or does Alpha want to?
We'll
We-
handle Alpha's thing now,
Okay.
because there's a whole
Uh,
story with the horse coming up.
Okay. Cool. And then you see Gregor sits down again and smiles and kind of looks pointedly at Gore. And Gore kind of, you see him look back at him with like a really, I don't want to do this. And he marches across the floor with his hands behind his back, looking like a determined child who's kind of is going to do something because they were told to, not because they want to. And he's going to kind of march across and hold out his hand towards Silas. And in his hand is like a white carved item. It looks like it's got like 3 little tongues at the bottom, a little thing at the top. It's kind of like a beetle. And he's kind of hold it out to Silas and kind of point to Silas's mouth. And Silas is kind of
This
look at
is so
him,
cute.
with his eyes quite wide. He's going to look at like Oryn and kind of look back again, like, what do I do now?
I'll just say before,
Great.
while we're watching Gregor, Gore and Silas, say to Gregor, thank you very much. Asking permission is always appreciated. And I'll put the necklace with the shell on around my neck, and just extend a hand and say, sort of shake on it, say thank you.
He's going to shake him. And as you put on the necklace, suddenly see it's been going on for so long, you don't even notice it anymore. It goes very quiet in your head. Completely quiet. The first time in a long time, but you've never even really noticed that. You thought it was part of coming through to this world, that you've always had this kind of buzzing in your head. You thought it was part of the world, but it just suddenly stops as soon as you put on the necklace.
I like it.
And sorry, so Gore is kind of just holding out the thing and pointing at Silas's mouth, and Silas is kind of looking at Oryn like, what do I do now?
Oryn is, well, obviously she'll probably be sitting there, like this big smile on her face, and she's going to nod to Silas and just say, "Go ahead, you can take it." She's just going to smile, looking back and forth between the two.
And Silas kind of reach out his hand, will snap his hand back and point towards his mouth again. And Gregor will kind of say, you stick out your tongue.
Oryn will relay that back to him in
Sylvan.
Sylvan, yeah.
He's going to kind of look at you like very worried, but kind of trustingly, and open his mouth. And as you notice, as he does that, Gourd kind of takes it and puts the little amulet on top of Silas's tongue. And as he does, you see it starts fizzing, and it starts going pink. And you see Silas like shaking his head and spitting and spinning his head around. And he kind of stops spinning, and he turns and goes, why'd you make me take that? And everyone can understand him perfectly well,
Speaking common.
speaking common. And Gregor just kind of laughs and says, you needed this. Now we can all understand you. If you want to speak to us, you think of us. And if you want to speak to only Lillith and Oryn, you think of them. And Silas is going to turn to go, why does he talk so funny? He puts his hand in front of his mouth. Did I say that out loud? Gregor's just going to laugh and say, you're going to need some practice for these, but I think it will work.
Oryn is just going to have a shocked expression, like dumbfounded, and she's just going to look at Gregor and be like, how did you do this?
It is a little elixir we can make, which I just permanently bond. Gourd did most of the work. We just permanently bonded it to that, which allows you to understand and speak a certain language. It was
Oryn,
nothing, really. It was nothing.
Oryn is then going to reach down again and just pull Gore into a big hug. And she's going to say to Silas, now you can talk to everybody. You must go tell them a big thank you to both of them.
You're going to
And
see
look
Gore
pointedly at Gore.
Well, you're going to see Gore kind of look like the Silas, like, nah. And then Gregor's going to come. Maybe we should let the two of them become acquainted. While the adults speak. Gore, we've spoken about this. And Gore's kind of like just lower his head. When you put him back down, he's going to kind of reach out his hand for Silas. And Silas kind of takes his hand, looking very worriedly at Oryn. They're both kind of just, you can hear people like squealing as they come past. One of the barmaids almost drops something as she walks past. And they kind of just head to the door. And then one of the waiters actually open the doors, and you actually see them just disappear outside together. And Gregor's going to be like, well, now that they're gone, why don't you tell me what you've been up to? It's been a while. I've missed you, my friends. I didn't think I would ever say that, but in a short time we were together, you had an impact on me. Maybe we wait for Alpha, or maybe you would just like to tell me what you've been up to. I know something strange was happening. I did get some ideas from the Lillith.
Oh,
Oryn is...
so Gregor's face would have been itching, like he wanted to scratch it off as well when the strange things happened.
I would get that when you guys kind of get to that point of the story, but yeah.
Okay. But I think before we get there, this would probably be roughly around the time Alpha would get back. So we're just going to jump over to that part quickly. Everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
Cool.
So Alpha, you're walking with the horse down Market Road to get to the stables.
Okay.
Is there anything you'd like to say or do?
I'd like to ask the horse. So, since I have given you a name, what was your name before this?
It is linked to where I come from, Master.
Where is it that you came from?
Somewhere called the Umbra.
So your name is Umbra?
No.
Why? Who sent you here?
My patron.
Who is your patron?
I cannot say.
Hang on. Hang on. That word's ringing a bell.
All flesh must be eaten.
Werewolf.
Yeah.
Werewolf.
Okay, werewolf. How? How did werewolf happen here now?
Why can't you say who your patron is?
It would be bad for you, Master.
And you can't even tell me your name?
If you knew my name, you would see how handy I could be. But in that lies the challenge.
Is there a way for me to figure out your name or where you came from? Or who sent you?
You have the hint for today. The horse looks quite proud of himself.
Good.
Are you planning on keeping the mushroom, Master?
The
Dun
mushroom
dun dun dun.
is not food.
I could take him back to where he belongs.
And where would that be?
The first world.
You can travel to the first world?
If necessary.
That information would have been handy if you had told me that earlier.
You never asked.
Alpha is going to look towards the mushroom and say, well, little mushroom, what is it that you want?
You hear kind of a voice in your head. You kind of see the master business. What we all want, freedom.
Would you like to go back to the first world?
I will love to go home.
Then it is settled. I don't know if there's a way to strap the mushroom onto the horse.
Do you want
Isn't
to
there
strap it
like
to the horse?
How's the horse going to carry the
maybe a
mushroom?
saddlebag or something? Does it have saddlebags on the side?
Would probably have.
Try and put it into a saddlebag.
Alpha's going to probably visibly look confused trying to figure out where he can put this mushroom.
So the horse just bites the side of the container that the mushroom is in.
Good. Alpha will say, I will meet you.
With it biting the side of the container, right? You see it has, like, you would imagine a horse doesn't have really sharp teeth. This one has quite serious teeth. Like, it seems more like a predator kind of more than a horse's.
Good. Predatorial horse. Alpha is going to say, it's settled then. I'll meet you back at the Rusty Dragon.
Of course, Master. And then it seems to dash towards you, and as it reaches you, it kind of just melts into your shadow. And it's gone.
This horse is going to be the
That's pretty
death
cool.
of me.
It and the mushroom.
Cool.
Careful what you wish for, they say, Alpha.
This horse has a lot more secrets, I feel, than...
Most of us have.
Listen, Gregor, I don't know about that.
Back to
So you
the Rusty Dragon,
walk
yeah.
back. And as you walk up, you see Gourd and Silas walking out to go play, probably.
Oh,
And then
See
you
Silas
walk.
is, again, you can see Silas is, I mean, they're working together. Gore's holding Silas's hand, but walking kind of like an older brother who's been forced to take his younger sister out on a walk or something. Like, really, I don't want to do this, but the adults are making me do this.
that's cute.
And then you walk into the Rusty Dragon.
Would Silas not say something to him going past? Because now he would understand him.
I don't notice anything.
I think he'd be more scared of Gourd. Like what's happening right now.
Again, as you walk in, you'll see kind of Gregor get up and say, "Excuse me," and he's going to walk across and kind of go, "Excuse me." Well, as you walk past, Gore would have saluted you with the arm that's got the ring, the bangle made from the ring. He would have saluted you as he went past.
Alpha is
Alpha,
gonna.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say Alpha. I just meant, yeah, he's going to salute Alpha, yeah.
Alpha's gonna full blast, open arms, just going for a big man hug, saying Gregor.
And Gregor's going to kind of hug you back and kind of pet you like, "My pious friend, it is good to see you. Look, too, I've had a change. It suits you. It adds to your aura. I have missed you more than you would probably believe."
Alpha's gonna kind of laugh. It is good to see you too, Gregor.
He's going to say, "Please come with me." And he's going to take you back to the table. Again, he's going to tell you there's food there, try the house specialty. And he's going to go as well. "For you, there is the red wine for us, but for you, I have something special. It is also a specialty from here. I do not know if you're allowed it, but it is a special drink they prepare. It is raspberry mead, but I did order for you special, the type that has not been matured. So it is more like a honeyed raspberry drink. Cordial, if you would."
A man of taste, I see.
He's just kind of brush it. "Well, thank you, thank you. No, please tell me what you have been up to while we have been gone." Do you want to have Thing come in, or just have them? They kind of tell the story of what they went through in Ravenmoor, and Greg was just kind of nod and like look shocked in Thing's face. And when you get to the part about where Alpha found the horse, he's going to go. At that time,
We can probably let the group tell anything they want to, because Amiko is going to kind of see they're busy talking, so she's not going to interrupt them.
does
So
anyone want to?
she
add
would be
anything to this?
returning with the stuff she has for them, but she won't interrupt them while they're speaking.
Does anyone want to add anything to the story? Kind of when you mentioned the part about the with what happened in the temple, he's going to say, "So it was strange. At that time, I got this like itching on my face, like it was burning and kind of boiling off at the same time. It was most peculiar." Does anyone want to add anything else to the story? Kind of what happened while you were gone?
Oryn would like to just heavily mention Fabulous and her interactions with Alpha.
And Gregor's just kind of look at Alpha with like, "Sorry, dude," look on his face.
I was just gonna
I
shake his
feel your
head.
pain. And then when you guys are all done, he's going to say, "Well, on my voyage back, I did not have as many adventures with you, but I did meet a strange lady. She made me nervous. She took me in and gave me breakfast. And she said, 'Ah, you come from the land of Uslav.'"
You
Okay,
better
and
run. You better
yeah, you
take
wrote
cover.
the lyrics. Did she
And
make you a Vegemite sandwich?
and I told you some people will get it, some people won't. So anyway,
We should just edit the song in when we edit the videos.
True,
Um,
true.
So and he goes, and she took out her Harrow deck, which is kind of like a Terra deck. There are 6 suits, and each suit has its own 8 cards. And she laid them out for me in a traditional manner. We shook it, and 3 rows of 3. And the first row, she turned over and said, "This is your headline. I see you dwell among the people of Uslav, but you are not one of them." She turned over the next 3 cards, and then she said, "This is your heartline. I see someone from your past, a woman, but she's also in your future." Then she turned over the last 2 and said, "This is your fate line. You will not succeed in your endeavors without an artifact. And lucky for you, I know somebody who can apply, who has that artifact for you." So she took me to a man. He was 6'4" and full of muscles.
What runs with Brussels?
And he said he took out a case, and he opened the case, and within the case he took out an object wrapped in a cloth. And when he opened it, when God and I saw it, we knew this is what we were going to need to achieve our destiny. It was, and he stands up and he kind of moves his kind of long overcoat to the side. And you see on his side now, he's got a weird, like cylindrical holster or cylindrical scabbard, I suppose, that you would put a sword in, and it's got a handle pick, and he takes out like a handle. It's got like a body attached to it, and in front of there are like 6 barrels. I put a picture in the actual chat as well, and he kind of gingerly lays it on the table. What do you call a pepper box? Got like a trigger and the 6. This is what he gave us, and I feel with this we can achieve anything. And he's going to kind of pick it up very gingerly and put it back into its holster. And says, I am not quite sure how it works, but I'm sure I can figure it out." And with that, Gourd and Silas come back in again. And they kind of get up on the table, and Gourd will pick up one of the skewers from Gregor's plate. It's still got a piece of halloumi, a piece of onion, and a piece of mushroom on it. And he's going to kind of look at Silas, and Silas is going to nod his head. And he's going to pull off the mushroom and throw it, and the onion, and it was a smaller onion, and the halloumi, and Silas is going to catch them all in his mouth. And then Silas is going to take out his 2 daggers and stand in like a fighting pose. And Gourd takes the skewer and kind of flicks it left and right, and holds it out like a sword. And they kind of do this like mock fight on the table. You can see Gregor kind of looking a little bit concerned, then looking across at Oryn. And
Oryn's equally as concerned.
they're going to kind of play fight for a while, and then you'll notice Silas drops one of the knives. And as he kind of moves to pick it up, Gourd drives the skewer into Silas's mouth. And he looks back, and you see Gregor eyes grow wide, and he kind of looks across at Oryn, and you see Silas like grab the skewer and kind of wiggling it around in his mouth. He drops his other knife, and he puts one hand to his throat, and he kind of like keeps wiggling it around in his mouth, and he kind of falls to one knee, and he starts putting his hand out towards Oryn, and then you see his lip kind of curl up, and he pulls out the skewer, and on the skewer is the piece of halloumi, the piece of onion, and the piece of mushroom. And he kind of throws it onto Oryn's plate. You see Gourd kind of put his left hand out towards Silas and put his right hand at his stomach and kind of start bowing to everyone. And you'll see Silas hold out his right hand towards Gourd, put his left hand to his stomach and start bowing to everyone. And then he's going to look at Oryn and just kind of start laughing. Say, "You should have seen your face." And from now on, Silas can store a small object within his head as if it was a container.
Good.
That was just kind of my way of introducing a new play thing that's been added in.
Oryn is just going to put her head in her hands and like shake her head after sighing a huge sigh of relief. And eventually she'll also start laughing and she'll be like, "You are going to be the death of me."
Gonna kind of look very shocked and then look across at the kind of skewer and like point it and like, aren't you gonna try it?
Paris' worst nightmare. I made this special for you, mommy.
And he's talking. He's talking. The first part he said in common. The second part was in Sylvan.
Oryn is going to say, "Yes, yes, yes, I will. I'm a little bit full right now, so I'm going to save it for later, okay? But yes, I'll try it."
See, kind
Good
of,
And she's
news.
just yes.
and you'll see while Chicky Poo's coming across, Gourd will walk across to Silas and kind of put out his fist, and they'll kind of fist bump and nod their head, and then Gourd will head back towards Gregor, is going to kind of give him a very like, "You are in so much trouble" look.
If I have to watch Silas die again and Gourd be the one that's killed him.
That'd be a nope moment.
Yeah, I don't know how I could have even reacted to that.
So with the small show being finished, Amiko returns and puts down quite a few letters on the table and says, "Well, these were delivered about a week ago. It's specifically to all of you." And then she steps back and then says, "Can I get you guys anything else before I go?"
Did we have alcohol already?
There was a
On the
bottle of red wine
tables?
with glasses, yeah, which I filled up, which probably would be close to finished now. Gregor's going to, "I must compliment you again on the cheese blossoms. They are amazing as usual. I do like that you made them a bit extra spicier as I asked. And again, the kebabs were absolutely beautiful. Maybe we need some more wine." And he's going to kind of look around at the table if anyone agrees with him that they probably need more wine after pouring like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 glasses of wine. He didn't pour for
Oryn
Alpha.
Oryn will probably have like slicked her last bit of wine out of her cup after what happened with Silas. She's gonna put her glass down and be like, I'll have some more.
Gregor said, "One more glass of my favorite red. Thank you very much, Amiko."
then-
Lilith will definitely be sipping at her wine after her last unfortunate sort of encounter with this world's alcohol. I'll be very gently sipping at the wine that was put down in
Kind of
front of
like it's kind of like a red wine, kind of like a Shiraz or a Merlot, just a slight bit sweeter. But pretty good wine, bit of a bite to it. Got like a cinnamony taste. But that's pretty good.
Akari is going to ask for the usual, and then Amiko is just going to smile and then say, "Okay." So a bottle of wine and the usual.
Gregor's gonna say, "You can put it on my tab. I will make payment later, as we always do."
And then Amiko walks towards the bar and then kind of like acrobats over it instead of going all the way around.
And then Gregor's gonna kind of look across at the letters and gonna kind of look at once. Well, I know James gonna have to guide me on this one specifically, and kind of go, "What looks surprisingly like my own handwriting?"
to anyone looking at the pile of letters, it has all of your names on it. Your full names are written out on them.
Including Lillith?
I was about to ask, is my name included on these? Do I have a letter as well?
Well, your name is on top of them, yes.
Alrighty. I suppose I should look what's in the letter, cause who would know my full name here?
Does everybody try and reach for the letters? You all get closer to the letters.
Yeah.
Alpha.
Yep.
So as all of you get a bit closer to them, you notice that your rainbow shards start glowing, and the letters seem to be opening on their own, and they start reading themselves. So in the letter, right, it explains that in the first world, the Sealy Council were attacked by a being of immeasurable power, one that shook the worlds to their core, and they had to step in to stop this from happening. And this came to pass because someone ascended to a seat of power, and that was the final condition for their awakening. As for the unfortunate business with all of you being transported to the first world, it would have been much easier, but unfortunately some time remnants slipped through with their message. And then it says specifically to Lillith, "Sister, we hope you find a better place here. We are sorry we couldn't bring you on this mission. All the best of luck." And then the letter kind of crumples itself up. All the words that were on it are gone.
Okay. Gregor's gonna use up. Well, that was interesting.
To say the least.
Maybe there is more to this than what we thought originally.
Yes, and we don't know. Alpha didn't tell us that his horse can travel to the first world, right?
Nope.
No.
Okay, so yes, my first mail from home, and I don't quite know what to say about it.
We know who it's
So-
from, hey?
It's from you.
Yes, the guys we fought.
Well,
Yes.
technically you, but yes.
Yeah.
It's your own handwriting, your own.
Okay.
Corey, as soon as the letter's finished, she's just going to like close her one eye, the jade eye, and kind of rub it a bit. And she seems like she's in a bit of pain at the moment, but nothing too bad.
Does anyone notice this?
It wouldn't be hidden.
No,
Okay.
but I mean notice that she's like in pain.
Probably, yes. Like I said, she's not trying to hide it. It's not like she's trying to not show pain.
Oryn
Um,
is going to ask if she's okay. And say, is that thing still bothering you?
She's going to look at Oryn and say, "Well, let's see if your eye becomes a stone if you'd like that."
Sure.
And then she like kind of
Wow.
clears her throat, and then she says, "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have snapped." Yes, it's still sensitive.
Is there anything we can do to help her with it? I've seen some strange magics in the first world, but not an eye turning into stone that actually still works as an eye.
Are you asking that directly to Akari?
Sorry. Yes.
She kind of looks at you, and then Andariel steps in and places her hand on Akari's shoulder, and then Andariel says, "At the moment, I don't think so."
Gregor's gonna kind of close. I have many elixirs that I can do many things with, but at this stage, I don't think I would be much help with that. On a meta note, Oryn, I just gave out gifts.
What? Say again?
I just gave out gifts.
Yes. Oh, you want me to give you yours?
What gift? I don't know anything about a gift.
Oh, right. Sorry. Um, I would have gotten to that. But yeah. Anyway, okay. Oryn is she probably would have done this before.
Mhm.
While they were talking about the adventures, you know, where she
Okay.
brought up Fabulous and the market and stuff, she would have just handed the rings to Gourd and Gregor and said, "I got these for you," while we were on our travels.
Gregor's kind of like, well, I thank you. And he puts it on his ring finger on his left hand. And Gourd puts his obviously on the same arm as your other ring is. And also, while you're coming across, Gregor's going to mention, you mentioned these tattoos. Could I be so bold as to ask for a look?
Is he asking specifically Oryn or all of us?
Just I'm not asking the team, asking the group.
Well, Oryn will probably also then just pull her the top part of her sleeve, because it's got that like puff in it, but
Yeah,
it's like cut down the middle. So she'll just pull the top part of it closer to the neck, to the side a little bit, and show her there by her shoulder.
It suits you, is what he would say.
Oryn's gonna nod her head. Thanks.
Alpha, are you going to show the raven, the matching ravens that you and I had done, or do you want Lillith to show Gore? Mine's on my shoulder.
Alpha's is in the back of his neck, like the back of his like shoulder part.
Okay.
In armor, that's probably going to take a while.
Mm.
In other words.
Alrighty, well then I'm wearing my little vest from Fabulous's, so I'll just hike the vest up as well and pull the sleeve down and show Gregor the raven tattoo. And then again, like you heard me asking Alpha, we've got the same pattern, just in different places.
It is that you have matching boundaries. I find interesting, but very nice as well.
So anybody that wants to see more could roll a perception check as Akari rolls up her sleeve to kind of show hers off.
Oh damn, it's been such a while. Yeah.
Perception.
Yes.
Yep.
My goodness, I'm changing dice.
I got 21.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Everyone but Lillith, we'll see.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay, so all of you would see, like, Akari takes a while to get to where her tattoo is. You see she has a few other tattoos, and then it seems to be scars. Like, you can clearly see it's a scar now, but it's difficult to tell what made it. And there's a bunch of them on her as she shows the tattoo to Gregor.
Gregor's not going to say anything. He's going to kind of nod and say, I would probably need to look at something myself there. Kind of strokes his beard and looks at Gourd, who kind of just nods back at him.
Silas would probably also show like a temporary tattoo that we did with the pen ink.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to ask anything?
Oryn is probably going to just like raise an eyebrow and look very concerned at the scars on Akari, but for now she won't say anything.
I was about to say the same, but just taking it a little further and saying, do you want to tell us where some of those came from or how that happened? No judgment here.
Kari's going to look over at Lilith and say, well, you were at the same tattoo parlor.
You got scars at the tattoo parlor? I think
Kari
they're different
pulls
ones.
Kari pulls her sleeve down quite quickly and says, oh, yeah. She doesn't speak about it more.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable. Just concerned.
Thank you.
As long as I don't hear off with her head, I'm good.
And kind of with it, have the next drinks arrived yet?
She comes back with the drinks and then a traditional bow box with dumplings in them that she puts down in front of Akari. The usual.
Gregor's kind of looking and go, I have not seen this before. And then he's going to say, and maybe we should talk about why I invited you here in the first place. When you want to say or do anything, then he's going to kind of talk about the same kind of thing that Gregor, I mean not Gregor, sorry, that Alpha saw the posters up for, that in this area there's been a lot of goblin raids in neighboring farms. It seems to be spreading out. They talk about there seems to be that the goblins are amassing a force, and there's concern that they're actually doing a lot of damage. They're looting a lot of traders. They're looting a lot of farms. That they could actually be building up a strong enough force to actually make a valid attack on Sandpoint. And to stop that from happening, a bounty has been put out, and Gregor feels that this team, with what they've been through previously, might be the right team to go and solve this issue for Sandpoint and gain the bounty. And who knows, see what happens after that. I have put my brother-in-law in charge for a while, so I can be away for a while this time. I don't need to worry to hurry back. Everything is in capable hands.
Well, I'm in.
I suppose we did get all of our special equipment and new toys that we haven't tried out yet.
Yeah, me too.
So Akari
Nice.
lifts the lid of the usual and creates two needle darts that she uses as chopsticks to pick up the dumpling inside. And she takes bites of it. It is filled with meat and like a sticky sauce as she eats it.
You see Gregor kind of, as he sees the meat, he kind of like gets a thrill and just kind of puts on a smile and goes, and just nods his head. And drinks some more wine.
Has he ever said anything as to why he doesn't eat meat? Is there like a
Mm-mm.
specific reason?
He hasn't said anything ever about why he doesn't eat meat. No.
Oryn's gonna ask.
I work with as a chirurgeon, I work with people's bodies and meat all the time. I cannot think of putting it into your body. It just seems foul. Whereas plants seem so much more natural. They live off the sunlight and the nutrition in the ground. They don't. put things in their mouths and eat them, and then it goes through their body, and you're basically eating secondhand plants. So why go secondhand when you can go to the original and just have good plants? It is just better for your body.
Oryn's gonna nod her head and say, "Oh no, I get you." She's gonna say, "Unfortunately, I feel as though I might have to take the opposite approach." And she's gonna laugh and then look pointedly at Silas and say, "I might have to cut vegetables out of my diet completely."
Well, I'll ask Akari if this is similar to the food stuffs we had at the fair, because we tried some of her home food there. Just ask her, is this similar to the food stuffs we had there at the? I can't remember what that World Food Fair thing was called.
The bubbling cauldron. Kari's gonna nod and say, just so much better. This is traditional minkai steamed buns.
Okay, you can't really see it in the picture, but actually, Amico is Oriental.
Okay.
Cool.
And
So for Galorian speech, she's Tian.
Tian.
yeah,
Yeah.
Kianxia is the name of the place.
Okay, well, I'll ask Gregor about these goblins raiding everywhere, if he's got any insight or sort of knowledge of where they would be, and if there's any plans around how we would approach our mission.
As far as we know, they seem to come from the swamp. But they are spreading further and further afield. It is saying that the chieftain of the closest tribe to us sent out champions to gather up the groups of goblins. But we should teach the ones here a lesson so that when they get back, they will see that we are not to be trifled with.
Kari at this point is gonna pass the baskets along.
Which way around? Clockwise or anti-clockwise? When it
Not
goes to Alpha to
to Gregor, because he doesn't eat meat. So to Alpha.
What is in the basket? The dumplings.
steamed dumplings, steamed buns.
Alpha will grab one and kind of very suspiciously look at it, pass on the basket, and then very awkwardly just chomp it down. Probably the most incorrect way to eat steamed dumplings.
If there was a wrong way
as-
to do it, that's what he did.
As Alpha takes a giant bite, it is scalding hot, the insides. So it is quite warm, but it is like a sweet and sour sticky pork inside.
Oh man, through the pain, if you roll high enough perception, you're probably able to see a little tear come down his cheek.
So Akari doesn't need to roll perception on that. She's just gonna smile and say, "A beginner mistake. Just it's quite warm." She says to the rest of the table.
She's learned her lesson already.
Alpha, are you gonna pass it along further, or?
Yeah, Alpha will pass it to Oryn.
Oryn will also take one. But she'll break off a piece as well and blow on it first, and then give it to Silas.
Silas will kind of hold it for a while, and he'll kind of blow it, and then put it in his mouth and kind of he goes, "This is good. It's kind of tangy."
Listen to the vocabulary. Sure.
Right. Also she'll pass the basket on by this point to Lillith.
Thank you. I'll also take one and maybe just not really, just like smoosh it so that it can pop open a little bit, and some of the hot steam can actually get released from these little buns, and then I'll pass it over to Gregor, saying, "Oops, sorry, my bad."
Gregor will take it. He'll take it from you. Kind of just like very sense of, please. I don't expect you to all follow my type of diet, and he'll just kind of still goes, "Oh, smells interesting," and toss it back to Akari.
So as he puts it down in front of Akari, she lifts up the top part, and at the bottom she says, "You might eat these ones."
Cool. Hidden little compartments, my favorites.
I'm going to say, what would that be? I know Amiko is absolute whiz with the food she makes. I mean, we've tasted in the platter that we had.
Kari's going to look at him and say, "Well, these are technically for after you've eaten the top ones, but they're kind of like a dessert, so they're filled with custard."
Okay, that might be acceptable. We maybe leave them to cool down and let the others finish theirs first, maybe.
It's up to you. And then Akari takes another one of the last one of the top basket.
And then Gregor's going to kind of look and goes, if you would all have nothing else from me, you would excuse me, please, yes? I have some business I think I need to attend to.
Oryn is going to nod her head to Gregor and say, "Thank you again for the food and for allowing my Silas to be able to speak with us a lot easier. It is really appreciated, and it's wonderful to see you again."
He's going
She's
to
also going to nod her head to Akari and say, "Thank you for the bun."
he's going to kind of nod you and say, please, it was only my pleasure. He's going to kind of pick up one of the buns and kind of walk out.
Before he
this-
goes, Akari's just going to say, so before we all part ways, when are we
Mhm.
going to leave to investigate this goblin problem?"
Well, Gregor will kind of say from his way to go, I don't believe it will be good to go and attack goblins at night. But it is still early in the day. We could maybe leave when I get back or tomorrow morning. I can organize rooms for you if you would like. But you can please discuss. I will be back shortly.
Very
And
suspicious.
it kind of goes out. Gore kind of waves as you with the arm with two rings on it now as he kind of goes out as well. And Garas will kind of look at Oryn as well and say, I can sometimes hear what he's thinking.
Oryn's going
Dun,
to look at
dun, dun.
Silas and say, "What do you mean?"
The scary one. That's how we planned the whole play we did.
Oryn's going to like furrow her brows and just say, "Well, what is he thinking? What does he say? Like, how can you do this?"
It's not always, but if he wants me to, I can hear what he's thinking. It's almost like talking, but he's gonna kind of look at everyone else and go, I'm sorry, I'm being rude. The other little one that I went and played with, we can sometimes I can understand what he's thinking. He's going to kind of look at Oryn like, was that right? Was that okay?
Oryn's again. She's gonna have like quite a shocked expression on her face. But like she's gonna nod at him and say, "Wow, that's amazing."
And then I kind of nod his head very proud and like, it was very bitter when it started, but I thought he was trying to kill me, but I do like what he did for me.
Oryn is gonna say, "Well, I'm glad, and it seems like you two are getting along a lot better."
He's going to kind of look at you like very dubious and be like, okay.
You
Or
say
not.
so.
I didn't say it was great, but it's obviously better.
Well, if by better you mean I'm not so scared he's going to try and kill me in my sleep anymore.
That's always a positive.
Oryn is gonna say, "Don't worry, let me tell you a secret. I was scared Gregor was gonna do the same to me. But now we're good friends, so you have nothing to worry about."
He's going to kind of go, and he's going to say, Lady Oryn, I'm still scared of Gregor. He's weird. That would be in Sylvan as well.
Oryn is just also gonna reply back in Sylvan. There's no need to be scared. He's the one that made you that helped to make you that would it be called a charm
Charm would be fine, or whatever. Yeah, Charm would be fine.
that helped you speak to us. So he's very nice once you get to know him. But there's nothing to be afraid of.
It doesn't make him any less scary.
Is Lilith close enough to hear this? Are we still
Yeah,
sitting
it would
at
probably
the
be. It would probably
Okay,
be, yeah.
so I'll just turn to Silas and say to him, he lived in my head for quite some time. He may be a little bit weird and have some really interesting thoughts that I don't quite know what to do with. But it's good to be cautious, but I don't think you need to be afraid.
You'll see Silas's eyes get like really big, and he's going to feel like, no way.
Unfortunately,
He's
you
like, I
won't.
lived in a forest, but this guy lived in your head. What?
I can
Yes.
fit a small object in mine. How the hell did you fit in your head?
Welcome to my world.
Kari's going to break the last bite in half, and then hold out the half to Alpha, and then say, just let it cool down a bit. It tastes a bit different once you don't cook your tongue.
Alpha's gonna very slowly take the bun, cautiously.
And then she looks at the rest of the table and says, well, we should eat these while they're still a little hot. They're not as good when they are completely cold. The dessert ones.
Sorry, okay. Do you guys want to do anything? That's up to the DM. But like Alpha, listen to me. Let me try again. Gregor is going to be gone for about just over an hour.
Were
Is
those
the
artichokes too spicy?
at this is it the Rusty Dragon, eh?
Rusty Dragon.
Is
Correct.
there like lodgings and things as well? Because
There is.
maybe we can have a nice warm bath or something.
There, I would assume there are bars. Yes, there's a bath. No, it's not. At the top, I think. At the top, there's like a bath, I think. The rooms are also dragon-based. So there's a red, a green, a black, a bronze, silver, gold. So each room is actually named after a type of dragon.
And then there's different sizes would be the different sizes of rooms. So you get
Yeah.
like a worm is your bigger one, and then you have like a drake, which is a small one.
It's a very dragon-themed inn, should you wish to do that. And Gregor did say he would pay for rooms should you decide to do that when he gets back.
So if you ask about baths, Akari is going to say there's a bath house in town. There's no baths in the Rusty Dragon Inn.
Okay, because I think I need a little bit of a refresh after our sea voyage and my unceremonious being sort of draped into the ship. I think I would like to go to the bathhouse then, if we've got time.
It should be, as far as I'm concerned, like not even noon yet.
Yeah, it's probably like 6ish in the morning if you arrived at 5. It's not been a long time.
So we had wine and vegetarian for breakfast and
Yes.
a bar one.
It was acceptable at the time. To say.
Just a comment.
Akari is going to say that she's going to stay at the inn and catch up with her friend.
Amika will shout across there because she heard us. She heard you talking about your adventures. You do know that she is known to give discount for a good story told from the stage. Looking pointedly at Akari.
I was gonna say enter Akari from the left.
Kari's going to look at her and say, I didn't know you charge friends when they come to stay here.
She's gonna say, "Well, she's gonna tell her, I could. No, you get the brass room as always, but the bronze room. Sorry, it's the bronze room. The bronze room as always, but the rest of them."
Well, that depends if we're going to be staying. But I'm quite sure we can get a story or two in before we leave.
Does anyone want to do anything, or do you guys want to just get up on stage and kind of just? There are some patrons here. Kind of talk to the patrons about your escapades, choosing how much you want to exaggerate the story or try and tell it as close to the truth as possible. Or do you want to go and look around? Lillith wants to go to the bathhouse.
Oryn is probably going to go with Lillith.
Silas is going to kind of, as you guys, going to pull on your skin. Go, is it going to be all steamy like the other one was?
Oh
Does
yeah,
he
he
want-
didn't. That wasn't good for him though. Hey.
Is he going to ask in common?
No, he's going to. No, this is in Sylvan.
Sylvan.
I quite liked it. It felt weird. Made me feel all weird. Not in a bad way.
Oryn is going to say, most likely. I'd hope so.
Okay.
Hope it's not cold.
He's going to kind of put up his hand for you to hold his hand and kind of swing his arm as he's going. As you all three kind of head off to the bathhouse. Alpha.
Alpha will tell a story.
Okay, if you're gonna say how close to the truth do you want to tell it?
He's gonna tell the story about the first world,
Okay, the escapades.
but as close as he can get. But he's gonna change how they got there. He's gonna maybe over exaggerate some of the battles a little bit, make them more dramatic and more, cinema, I guess.
Okay, go ahead and make a performance roll, and DM, you would need to make a perception roll for Amiko because she hates nothing more than a false tale.
But embellishing and telling it theatrically doesn't make it a lie, per se.
Just checking her stats quickly.
Oh, roll so long.
Cool, thanks.
Ooh, ouch.
9.
9! So, just for everyone's knowledge as well, going forward into the Jade Region storyline, I know we've discussed how hero points work. They will not be resetting each session. It'll be after each chapter of the story, or you can earn them back with your deeds that you do in game. So if you burn one, it might be a while before you get it back.
Oh no! So we need to really treat our dice rolls with respect, is what you're telling me.
They don't have 3 get out of jail for free cards each session anymore, in other words.
Blasphemy.
I feel like I'm not ready to play this game anymore.
I know, shock and horror.
I also feel that considering Gregor said we needed a gun, that we missed our chance buying guns. I thought that that would have just been a nice to have, but I'm actually really scared for what you're going to put us through now, and the fact that we don't have a gun. So
We've got arrows, you and me, for what it's worth.
So Amiko knows that you embellished some of it, but most of your story was truthful. So she knows you didn't make everything up. So she doesn't disapprove of it, but she knows you added a lot of theatrics into it. But of course, that's for the crowd, so she understands that.
And that what that would mean, although Gregor said he would pay, is that basically she only charges you half price for your room and your food. But again, Gregor said he would pay.
So Alpha,
Is
do you
that
go back
only for
to
Alpha or for all of us?
Only for the person that told the tale.
Alpha? Do you go back to the table, or do you have something else you would like to do?
Sorry, yeah, I just moved you back.
Alpha is gonna go back to the table.
So as you get back to the table, you realize that Amiko and Akari are speaking. They are speaking Tien, so I don't know if you understand that.
No. Nope.
Okay. But you can clearly see that it's whatever Amiko is telling Akari is quite concerning to Akari.
Good.
Okay.
At the bathhouse, as you guys walk in, you see it is a elder elf. Like, it is... Oryn would well, you both would know. The elf is very old. Even for elves, this is, like, way, way old for an elf. And the elf looks up at you and says, "Welcome to the bathhouse."
Welcome to the bathhouse, young one. I'm always happy to see young people here.
And then ask if you would like a traditional bath or if you would like a herbal bath.
Is it a lady or a gent?
Gentlemen.
Well, good morrow to you, grandfather. I think I would like to go with the herbal bath, thank you.
Does wonders for the complexion. You wouldn't say it looking at me now, but 400 years ago, I was quite a sight to see.
You've just become more distinguished.
Oh, you flatterer. I'm too old for that, too.
such a charmer, Lilith.
So he takes out a...
To see what he's going to charge us.
He takes out
Not
a
everyone
parchment,
gives discount.
takes out a parchment and lays it down, and then he says, "Here's our selection of herbs." So you can see there's like, you can have one, or they have specific ones for like adventurers or climbers or the night after. You know, there's a few different combinations.
The morning
Or
after?
you can just take a standard, listen, lavender or sage or whatever the case may be.
Sorry.
Well, I'll try the adventurer's herbal bath. Or which one would you actually recommend, grandfather?
He thinks for a while and then he taps on the. With a wink, he taps on the morning after one.
Oh, whoa.
And
Whoa.
Barking up the wrong tree here. I'm just saying, grandfather.
kind of
You were a little too nice to him.
giving off the wrong vibes.
Absolutely.
He's gonna kind of scratch his beard. No, elves can't grow a beard. Gonna scratch his face. But I'm sorry, I forgot the old cheeky streak I had as a young man. I do apologize for my sense of humor. And unfortunately, the one thing that hasn't changed as I've gotten old.
See, told you, just more distinguished. No offense taken by me, Oryn.
With a smile, he then moves his finger down and then he taps next to a first world. It's just called the first world. But he smiles directly at Lillith as he does that.
I am sold on that one then.
Oryn,
Um,
what would you like to ask Mr. Elf?
Oryn will also ask if he has any recommendations for me, seeing as though what he pointed at for Lilith is quite spot on. The second time round, that is. See what he says for her.
He seems to examine Oryn for a while longer, and then he takes out another piece of paper and puts it down, and then writes on it, but it's in a language that Oryn doesn't understand. And then he says, "This is the youth bath." Nothing about what you look like, but for the mark you bear.
A very
Oryn is
receptive uncle, this, right?
yeah. Oryn is going to look at him and say, "What do you mean by that?"
He looks at Oryn and he just says, "Well, I take it your friend already knows then." And then he says, "Because you have that mark on your arm."
No, but what is this bath gonna do with my arm? I mean, how's that gonna help?
He says that your entire life you've been plagued by death, and many believe this bath helps you ward that off.
I take one myself 3 times a day.
Oryn is going to shake her head at him and say, as if I haven't tried everything already. And then she's just going to point at some random thing on the list, like, a simple bath, and she'll just say, I'll take that one. And then turn around to start walking off.
Please roll
you
a
kind of-
d12.
A
As you kind
D12!
of-
Yes.
Oh my word!
Oh
Does
dear.
only Oryn have to roll a d12?
Yes.
Oh, 6 in the middle.
Okay, you have the brawler's bath.
What does that mean?
You'll
I
find
don't
out
know.
soon enough.
Strong and pungent. It kind of smells like Ripperil gel. BP.
Voltaren!
I'm not supposed to be a. Is it too late to change my choice?
Well, I'll actually see Oryn's distress and then just step a little closer and say, Grandfather, can we maybe rethink this? My friend's had a really long week. Um, can we maybe just give her something that will help her relax and just start her day off a little bit better? Sunshine and rainbows rather than something that reminds us of where we've been.
Death and icy hot.
Exactly.
He hands the paper that he wrote on to Lilith, and he says, "Just give that to the attendant."
I'm not going in that bath. I feel like bad things are gonna happen to me there.
Don't be anything bad, I promise.
Nothing
Dun,
bad.
Where have
dun,
I heard
dun.
that before?
I was gonna say the DM just promised nothing bad's gonna happen.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'll just take the classic bath. Or I'll go with Lillith. Yeah, with Lillith, because Silas is also part
I
of the
don't
first
mind.
world.
Yeah, no, that's all good. It's all good. All good by me.
Okay.
You take over DM. I'm not touching that one.
As you guys go to the bathhouse rooms, right? Do you decide to go together, or are you each going into your own separate one?
We'll go into our own separate ones. I feel like I'm not doing this again for the third time.
I think
So-
Oryn just means she'll have the same bath option, herbal bath option as me. I think that's what she meant, right?
That's what I understood.
Yes.
Yeah, innuendos, boys,
you-
innuendos.
Do you give the piece of paper to the attendant or not?
Me.
Yes.
I suppose so. Why?
So the piece of paper the old man gave you?
Well, can I read what's written on it?
No.
I can also not read it. Shall I, just before we go to the attendant, just turn around and say, Grandfather, is this going to help us or harm us?
Baths usually help, young one.
Oryn, what do you think? Do we give this slip of paper to the attendant? He asked me to do it, so I'm kind of thinking I'll give. Is written on there just Oryn's youth
There's
eternal?
something's written on there. You don't know what it is.
You don't know what.
But it's like a single word. It's a single word. You can see that at least.
Okay.
Oren's
Well,
gonna shake her head no at Lillith.
okay.
Do it. Do
Oryn,
it. Do it. Do it.
if this comes back to bite us, I'll take the bite. I'll give the attendant the piece of paper.
There we go.
And roll with the punches.
You're the one.
So, as you guys walk to where the doors are, you see a water elemental is actually the attendant that opens the door for you.
Oh, do you have a picture?
I could get a picture for you.
Not as cute looking as you'd think.
I know. But okay, cool. No, I'm joking about the picture. Let's see. Okay, so water elemental at the door, right?
Kind of like a
Opens the
tornado.
door for you, and it kind of bows down, a few droplets dripping onto the ground, and then it stands back up and gestures for you to get into the bath. And this would be the time for you to give the piece of paper to the attendant, by the way.
Okay, so I'll give the piece of paper to the water elemental.
So as you give it to the water elemental, it kind of absorbs into it and then dissipates into the water elemental.
Piece of paper.
Yes.
Right.
Oryn, do you go in?
I'll be honest, I actually do not want to. I'm worried.
Okay, I'll get into the bath. I'll get into the bathtub. Let's see if my skin peels off. Then you know, don't do it, Oryn.
You're not the one surrounded by death.
So Lillith, you go in and the water elemental closes the door, and you get into the bath and the water elemental fills it up, and then you feel it heating up, and it seems almost like a current is rushing through the water around you, and you get the same benefits as a long rest. I know it doesn't help you right now, but it feels like you just slept in the first world. Like you feel like you were just home.
Fantastic, refreshed and revived. Can I let Oryn know that that's how it feels?
Well, you're currently in the bath.
Shout out the door.
You
If
need
you
to
want to.
experience this, Oryn. And if you don't want to send in Silas, it's like being reborn.
Oryn will do that. She'll send Silas there to, I don't know if the next stall or if you're
The
saying come
official
to your
lab.
one.
So you send
Yeah, for
Silas in
be
with
fine.
Lillith, or
Lillith, I can put
Look
him
on the
in his
door.
own bathtub. Yeah.
That's it's really not an issue. But now I'm pretty sure I would have finished my bath. So Silas
well,
is
it's
welcome to come and have.
your
Yeah.
bath isn't finished. Like you just got in now.
Okay, my bath's not finished. Okay, well, I'll turn my back towards the door if that's gonna help. If Silas is gonna want to poke his eyeballs out. Um, how sensitive is the little
He's a vegetable. Come
squash?
on.
Okay, no, send Silas in. I really don't have an issue. First world fairy, half elf. So no, I'm all good.
So Oryn, do you go into the other bath?
What's in the other bath?
Nothing at the moment.
Nothing. Sure.
Go for it.
So you get into the bath, and the water elemental also fills up the bath with water. Same procedure. It heats up, and it seems like there's kind of a current going through the water. And as you look down at your own reflection in the water, it looks like you're crying. Right? You know you aren't, but it looks like you're crying. And it looks like it's the child you looking back at you from the water. And please roll a d8.
Okay.
So on your next combat encounter, you can choose either to heal 2d6, or alternatively, you can add a d6 onto a roll,
A damage roll or attack roll? What roll?
any roll.
Any roll. Okay.
Hey,
That's not bad.
See, oh, good.
that's good.
DMs aren't always mean.
Grandfather is a kindly old soul.
And
Did
as
we-
you look
What?
at the mark
Did you
on
check
your
the rooms
arm,
for peepholes?
as you look at the mark on your arm, the Keres mark, it seems lighter once you're done with your bath.
Good. Good.
It's something that is in the distant memory, but you can kind of remember that's what it looked like when you started to feel guilt around it.
Right. All
I
right. Well,
assume
let
that's a
me put that in the notes app. What is it? That I could add to my next roll or whatever.
You could either heal 2d6 health, or you can
To
add
the
1d6 to any roll.
And add Silas's storage to the notes on Silas as well. So one small item.
Isn't that part of that is there? It's
No, I don't
under
think it
special
is.
abilities. Keepsake. Gourd Leshies can pop off the top of their heads and store a single fine-sized object, such as
It's
a
small
dagger
enough.
or a potion inside.
Okay, sorry. I didn't know it was already in there. I apologize.
No, no worries, no worries.
It's only recently been added to the rules. That's why I thought, let me try and find a fun way to introduce it to you.
Oh, shame. Thanks.
Cool,
So neither of you asked beforehand how much it is going to cost.
cool. Rookie mistake.
Whoops.
So as you put on the rest of your equipment and you check everything, from Lillith, you have 5 silver missing. From Oryn, you have a gold missing.
I'm good with 5 silver.
This is getting to be a theme. Not really, because Megs did give you the gold back.
Mm,
You're kind of breaking even.
yeah, fair enough.
Do you guys return after the bath?
I would assume we'd go back to the
It would have been about
rusty
an hour now. So, I mean, Gregor and Gourd would probably be returning about the same time.
And then I'm just going to pop through to Akari and Alpha again. Alpha, is there anything you'd like to do or say while we're waiting for the rest of the team?
If there's any point where there's silence between Akari and her friend, Alpha's gonna ask both of them, do you know anything about the Umbra?
Very nicely done.
Hmm. So, Amiko looks at you and then says, I've heard stories of it. And then Akari is going to look at you and say, it's kind of where my other half comes from. Looking at Andariel.
Ooh.
Alpha's gonna ask, so is it your deity's domain?
One of his domains, she answers.
So the Umbra belongs to him.
She's going to like kind of shake her head and say, "Well, I don't think it belongs only to him, but he is like." And then she thinks for a while, and then she says, "Imagine if the world was divided into parts. Let's call it 7 parts. He's the ruler of one of those 7 parts."
7 sounds a bit too specific.
So
Such a nice even number, don't you agree? 7.
if you say, Akari said he's not the
Only.
only one that, I say this loosely, own the Umbra.
Rules are part of the Umbra, she would answer.
So is there a deity that does own the Umbra?
No.
I see.
Constantly wars going on for power, but or sport or entertainment. She's almost looking for the right word to explain it.
Eternal war.
Can Alpha, I don't know if Akari's ever said anything about her deity.
Nope.
Would Alpha
Well, the summon has, but Akari hasn't.
would Alpha be able to roll for like knowledge or anything about that?
You could try and recall knowledge, or you can make a religion check on the Umbra. Just a straight up religion or occult.
Which one is highest? Occultism.
Okay.
I'll use that. Yeah.
Wow.
So you know that there's actually 9, not 7, but that's it. That's the only thing you know.
Well, Alpha's gonna say, so of the 9, I'd look at Akari.
Layers of the Umbra.
Layers
She
of the
adds.
Umbra. Okay. Who is your deity again?
She's gonna smile and just say, "He's a prince."
A prince that goes by the name of.
He has many names. Maybe you should ask him.
As subtle as a blunt sword.
How do I go about asking him?
Ooh.
She seems more intrigued by a question, and then she says, "Well, you can just call on Asmodeus, and he should answer."
You know that picture of that book I sent? You know, just read a couple of passages of that. It'll work fine, I'm sure.
So I take it that his name is Asmodeus, one of his names.
Akari nods.
Good.
Just don't tell your gods.
Demon Lord.
Demon Prince.
Just
Prince,
FYI.
please get it right. Not the symbol. Prince.
Akari does.
Asmodeus, formerly
You should-
known as Prince.
You should not tell your gods about it.
About what?
Contacting
Communicating with
mine.
him.
Right now, Alpha, keep your options open. You know?
Light and dark, light and dark.
I mean, do they know each other?
Alpha
What is the
said,
chance of one two gods walk into a bar and one says, I don't see it kind of working, so putting it out there.
Sorrow sword that goes about justice, redemption, and dying for your cause in the eternal war. I wonder if they've met.
But no, they probably met, but are they on speaking terms is the question.
Probably like divorced parents, talking about it. Well, your son phoned me today. Guess what he said? Ye what?
one of your followers tried to contact me today.
Someone's lost their touch.
Going to my side, we've got better benefits.
Come to the dark side, we got cookies, one of those.
I've been to the dark side, they lied about the cookies.
So, any other questions?
No.
Like the guy in the white van.
Would
Yeah,
sorry, would Alpha be able to no, okay, never mind.
like to pray.
No, not now.
So I'd say the rest of the group kind of returns at this stage. And you see that Amiko is sitting at the same table with Akari, the summon, and Alpha. Very intrigued by the conversation Alpha and Akari just had.
Gregor's kind of walk past and kind of sniff and go, you two smell heavenly. And then kind of bend and go, you too, Silas. And so I was going to kind of look at Oryn and say, I don't think he talks funny.
Well, Lillith and Silas would kind of technically smell like his drink smells.
No wonder he likes the way we smell, but thank you very much. Better than stale old whatever and smelly fish out of the shop we were in.
Very true, very true.
He's going to turn to Oryn and say, can we maybe have a word?
Oryn will nod her head and say sure. She'll bend down to Silas and say, why don't you go with Lillith? I'll catch up with you in a minute.
And then I'll excuse myself and join the rest of the group at the table and make sure
Silas will
that
kind of-
Silas follows me.
No, Silas will kind of look and go, are you sure you want to be alone with him? I can protect you.
Sounds like quite cute.
Oryn is gonna say, oh, I know you can. That's why I'm sending you to be a strong, brave protector for Lillith. And the rest of the group, they're gonna need your strength.
He's going to kind of pull at his, tug at his clothes, and he goes, I will do my best.
Oryn's going to salute him as he walks off.
Are these rooms here common rooms that you can use? The couches and that?
Yes.
Going to kind of lead Oryn into the room with the couch. There we go. Kind of stand across and there we go. Kind of sit her down on the couch and kind of kneel down next to her, look at her straight in the eyes, and he will put a hand under her chin to make sure she's looking in his eyes, and he'll say, you have accepted my gift, and I have accepted your gift. And he holds up his hand, showing the ring. I have
Dun,
accepted.
dun, dun, dun.
I have accepted your challenge and completed it. And he's kind of opened his shirt and pulled down to show that he's got a tattoo. It looks. I put them into the chat. Looks like kind of a cross. Sorry, David. Between the first and the third one, looks like a kind of raven, kind of flying with like smoke coming out behind it. And he's going to take out the bottle of liquor that he had in pour glass and hand it to her.
Oryn's gonna take a glass, say thank you, but give him a little bit of a puzzled look still.
Toast to our new union. Sorry.
And he's going to,
Off.
when you kind of drink, he's going to say, and you have now drank of the aquavitae 3 times. It is amongst my people, it is a custom that we are now betrothed. We will take our wedding vows before the next lunar cycle. And he's going to kiss her hand and walk out. And as he walks out, you'll notice Gourd kind of walks behind him and he looks back at you with a very glint in his eyes, a very mischievous look in his face as he follows Gregor out. And they just go and sit with the rest of the group.
And dead silence falls.
What is
Oryn is
it?
just gonna sit there holding the drink, like, what the hell just happened? And she's just gonna sit there. Hang on, I need a minute to process this. This came out of nowhere. He's still gonna be there for a good while, just sitting there in shock. If I think somebody might need to come and get her.
Akari's
Just
gonna
not
look at
moving.
Akari's gonna look at Gregor and say, where's Oryn?
She's taking a while. And with that, Silas is going to come like running into the room and go like, Lady Oryn, are you okay?
Oryn is gonna look at Silas and just again just staring like blankly at him and go, I think so?
What did he do to you?
Nothing. And with that she's gonna clear her throat and stand up, but also just very gingerly just walk back to the group. But again, her eyes are like wide and she's still shocked.
As you kind of walk back, Silas will walk back to him. The whole way there, he's going to keep giving dirty looks to Gregor and Gourd.
Only seat being open is next to Gregor, of course.
Okay. Oryn is also just going to like pet Silas's head and like, you know, raise her eyebrows at him, like don't give death glares. Be nice, play nice. That's your stepbrother now.
As you put
I
your
need a
hand on the
minute.
as you put your hand on the table, Gregor's going to kind of put his hand on your hand and just sit like that.
Oryn is going to just look at him again, like dumbfounded look on her face, and just stare at him. And then stare at like Lillith next to her and kind of just be like, what is happening?
Gregor doesn't speak Sylvan, right?
Not as far as you know.
Can I get just a straightforward yes or no, please?
Not that you know of. You know well, you wouldn't know. The team knows that he does speak Undercommon, and he has slipped into Veritian every now and again. and he also speaks Goblin.
Okay,
That's helpful.
so I'm new to the
Basically,
team,
you
so I
wouldn't, yeah,
don't
you wouldn't
know.
know that. Well, you might know that from being in his head.
Yeah,
But the group from
but I don't know how
interaction
we.
does know that.
Okay,
Kamiko is
maybe
going
I'll
to
just look
immediately
across
say,
Oren.
well, you guys, you should have said something. I'll get you the honeymoon suite. Don't worry about it.
Oh, you wouldn't know.
Kamiko.
Wouldn't know.
She's looking at you holding her hand. Like, come on.
No, just put his hand on top of her. It's not holding her hand.
Bruh.
Well, if Oren gives me like a side glance, I'll just say, Oren, would you like to just quickly follow me?
2 proposals in one day.
Wow. Alpha, get in here.
No,
Make
no.
it 3 for 3.
No.
Oren is
Is
going to. Sorry, did Lilith ask that? So Oren, do you want to come with me
Yes.
for a second?
Yes.
Oren's going to be like, okay.
Also, I did that didn't work so well.
Well, we won't go to the same room. Is this room at the top here with the tables, would that be far enough away for me to ask Oren something? Hello?
Unless you spoke really loudly, I don't think they'd be able to hear it because you need to kind of perform from the stage up top here. But that'd be up to the DM.
Yeah, I think it would be fine if you want to go there to speak.
Okay.
But you're also going to draw a lot of attention if you walk towards the stage. From
Okay,
the
then
rest of
maybe
the
just
people. So maybe use this
walk-
room or that room. Or...
We
just
can go
walk
back into the
outside.
room we were in.
Maybe walk outside and just get some fresh air.
Yes, good idea.
Right, then I'll ask Oren what is wrong, because obviously something just happened that is not to your that's making you feel uncomfortable.
Oren is just going to, again, she's just going to look at her and she's going to be like, I don't know what just happened. Apparently, I'm engaged.
Or you're going to see Silas's mouth just like drops open and his eyes go all like wide. And he's going to go like,
I'll just say, well, that's usually good news, isn't it?
Oren is going to look at her and nod her head and be like, yes, it is, but it came out of nowhere. I feel so, I don't know. She's going to look at Silas, obviously not ignoring him, and she's going to be like, do you know what being engaged is?
he's going to kind of spit out a bunch of pips into his hand and kind of throw them up in the air and then kind of walk under them. And he's going to kind of say, something like that.
Oren's going to go, yes, something like that. It's like best friends forever and ever.
His eyes are going to get really big again. He's going to go, kind of hearing like snicker and go like, Baroness Oryn? And he's going to start snickering and burst out laughing. He's going to say, I'm sorry, I can't help myself. Baroness Oryn.
Oren's going to look at
crack
him and go,
himself up.
ha ha. Very funny, Silas. You know what? Why don't you go talk to Gourd about it? Maybe he can tell you a little bit more about what's going on.
He's gonna kind
Maybe
of look at you.
Silas should also understand that Gore will be his brother.
Yeah.
He's going to kind of look at you again, and he'll actually go inside, but he's going to be like snickering under his breath the whole way he goes. And the rest of you, as he comes in, you just don't know what's going on. Silas just kind of snickering under his breath the whole time, and he kind of looks across at Gregor and starts giggling again, and then looks back at the door and trying really hard not to, but just keeps snickering the whole time.
Shall I just ask Oryn, well, how do you think you got engaged? If this is such a big shock to you, were there no signs?
Oryn's gonna look at her again and just like still so dumbfounded. I personally
You said the glass in your
meta
hand.
knowledge.
FYI.
Yeah, yeah. Probably. Like, it's frozen in shock. Oryn is gonna look at her and say, I I did not see this coming. Truly, I just stuttering the whole time, worse than Sylvia, honestly. Gonna say to her, I haven't seen him in so long. It was such a long time ago. But when he told me about his previous wife, I never would have expected that he would move on. If this is like, I don't know if this is because he wanted to, or because I like
She
he
did
said
die.
in his culture
Yes.
thing. Yeah, obviously,
She
but
wasn't his wife, but just say.
yeah. Like, I mean, I was like, his cards just said something about having a wife again, and I'm like, just there, and she's like having verbal diarrhea in front of Lillith, and she's just going on, and she's like, and I don't know what happened, and I don't know if this is just like a culture thing, or, what am I supposed to do? But I'm sitting there, and then he says, next thing, that he got a tattoo, and now we have to say our vows.
You got a tattoo, now we have to say our vows. Wow.
Suppose he's actually thought this through, but maybe just tell him you need a little bit of time because this is a little bit
What's the
sudden
next
to you.
lunar cycle? The whole month.
A whole month. Wow.
There's fast and then there's fast, right?
Yeah. So she's gonna look at Lilith and she's gonna be like, I just sat there. I didn't know what to say. It's like my mouth wouldn't work. Like, when have I ever not been able to say anything?
Well,
Like, of
on
all
the bright
people.
side, he's human, right?
Yes.
You'll outlive him.
Oryn's going to suddenly get very worried. Look on her face, and she's gonna be like,
I lost Oryn
Yeah,
altogether on my
we lost
side.
you there.
Yeah, we all lost you there.
This is worse than Alpha and Fabulous.
Oryn, she's like, I'm too young for this. And then she's going to say, no, wait, I'm too old for this. No. And she's just going to start hyperventilating.
Okay, just take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. I'll put my hand on her shoulder and just say, Oryn, just calm down. Just breathe through this. There must be some logical explanation.
You're just going to hear Oryn like, oh, oh, the whole time until eventually she's like calming down. She's like, you're right. You're right. There must be some logical explanation to this. I'll chat to him later this evening and see what is going on, what happened. Maybe once things have calmed down.
Yes, maybe there were some crossed wires somewhere, and
Maybe I'm just too charming.
Well,
On the
you
inside.
are.
Right.
Akari's gonna ask or say to Gregor, well, that was quite a bold move.
Gregor's gonna go, what do you mean?
She's gonna look at his hand where he was holding or had it on top of Oryn's hand, and she's gonna say, well, putting 2 and 2 together.
Maybe you should rework your mathematics.
I don't know, she seemed pretty freaked out.
I sometimes have that effect on, well, people in general, not necessarily women.
Akari's
Yes,
going
Yes, you
Fabulous
kind of-
gonna make
in
the
your
wedding dress.
And you see kind of with him saying that, excuse me, you'll see Amika kind of nod her head like, wow.
Akari's going to laugh a bit and then say, so, did she consent to this?
Can look at you again like, you're gonna say, I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Akari's gonna burst out laughing. She's gonna enjoy this.
I feel like at this point, Oryn and Lillith probably would have gone back inside.
Yes, not to be that person, but we would probably return to the group. Yes.
Return inside, seeing Akari's busy hosing herself at the table.
Oryn's going to look at Silas like, did you say anything?
And Silas is just gonna look at you and just burst back into laughter again. He's gonna spit out a bunch of seeds again, just throw them up in the air. And shake his head like no. But still laughing his head off.
The summoner is going to lean closer to Alpha and then ask him, "Can you officiate, holy man?"
Sure.
We might have to do that on our travels.
Gregor's kind of look at Akari and go, you make too many stupid assumptions.
Akari's not making any assumption. That's what the summon is asking Alpha quietly on the other side of the table.
I'll look across at both of you.
She's not saying it
I mean-
loudly.
Okay, so would he be able to hear it then or not? Because that's kind of the...
Probably not. This
Okay,
is
then
something
leave
that Andariel is whispering
Okay.
to you.
Okay, then leave it. Okay, then leave it.
I feel like, maybe I'm jumping the gun here. Maybe I've just volunteered to be a sacrifice. I mean, he didn't explicitly say wedding.
Betrothed.
Betrothed.
Oh,
So we'll
fair
take our
enough.
wedding vows before the next lunar cycle.
Oh, did you say wedding vows? I didn't hear
Yes.
wedding. I just said vows. I'm like, maybe I'm vowing to be a loyal servant.
I think I said wedding vows.
I was
Who's
going to
just
say,
misheard you?
well,
We'll see the
depending
recording,
who you-
right?
You can check the
I mean,
recording, yeah.
I mean, if I did jump the gun, I think that would be more embarrassing. It's like I'm
Well-
thinking wedding and he's thinking sacrifice.
Well, he did say betrothed. I mean, that generally means one thing.
Yeah, true. Right,
And
you're
he did
right.
put the ring on his ring finger of his left hand.
Again, I'm still in shock. So, me personally, Caedyn is still in shock. So,
Oryn, the devil is in the details.
Oryn is
Yes.
going to lean
I've been
over
working.
to.
Yes, I've been building up to that the whole time.
Ah.
From the
Oryn
first time
is.
you took the drink.
Are you for real?
I'm for real.
I thought I was going crazy.
Alpha, aren't you glad you didn't drink it?
I didn't offer him.
I'm just
I mean,
saying.
you notice I did offer you to you twice already. Only to you.
That's true.
This
So,
has been kind of a scheme right from the beginning.
there's Oryn going to say something.
Oryn is just going to lean over and whisper to Gregor, I think we should talk about this some more.
He's going to look at you and he's going to kind of think, tomorrow. I need some time to make arrangements.
Oryn's just going to nod her head and again just look back down at the table.
So it should be around 9-10 now, correct?
In the morning.
Yeah.
So all of
Akari
this
is going
is before
to-
lunch, Oryn.
Akari's going to pick up a glass and then she's just going to say, "Well, bachelorette coming." Just randomly. And drink.
Oryn's head is going to shoot up and look at Akari and just glare daggers into her soul.
She's going to smile at her and say, remember, you have to actually use the the incantation for needle darts, eh?
Oryn's just gonna say, I'm this close, believe me.
Gregor's gonna say, well, should we be on our way then? Or would you like to maybe do so? It has been a pleasure, as always, Amicori. So he's kind of bows his head to her.
I think so. He bowed his head to who? Sorry.
Amico.
Ah, yes. Oryn will also, nod a head to her and say, thank you for your food, your time. It's been lovely.
Always welcome. And if you ever need a caterer for the big day, just let me know. And she kind of walks away smiling and then hops over the bar counter again, still watching the table.
Well, Lilith will probably at this point pipe up that things happen very differently in your world than it does to mine.
Well, I mean, it's happening differently in my world than it is in my world.
Are we going to head out? Akari says, still laughing a bit.
Gregor's gonna say, yes, I think it is time. We should make some progress before nightfall. Because again, I don't think taking on goblins at night is a good idea. Maybe for those of you who can see at night, and it kind of points pointedly at kind of everyone except Alpha, it is okay. But for us, it is a bit of a problem.
Are we going goblin hunting now after all of this excitement that happened here now?
I believe
Well,
so.
Gregor kind of looks around like he doesn't understand what everyone's so excited about.
Does sorry, the Alpha and Gregor, they don't come from the same place.
I don't know. Gregor comes from Ustalav, which is kind of like it's kind of like Romania in our modern world, with gypsies, and there's a lot of undead and vampires and vampire hunters, kind of known as the land of fear.
How close is that to the north?
Pretty far.
Okay.
How far north?
Out of the world.
Yeah.
No, pretty far. It's
Okay.
pretty far from there. You've probably heard about it because it is kind of known as the kind of the land of terror, but it is pretty far.
Okay.
Side notes, are you okay? Oryn?
I'm fine. I'm good. I'm just processing. I'm making the wedding invitations. Relax.
I was gonna say, are the and you thought I was done with doing shots and that I was back to being a player.
So I take it you guys go to the Brine Stump Marsh, correct?
Yeah, kind of head out and head into the Brine Stump March.
So
Is that okay? Wow, I thought thing was on the other side.
no.
Good,
So this is the new fishing road. There's a abandoned fishing road, and this is the old fishing road here at the top.
So you're taking the new fishing road.
Yeah, it's the latest one. So, well, it depends on the team. Do you guys want to? So this Sogs River, right? This entire area where the bigger road is, that is like a cliff. So you go down into Sogs Bay and the Brine Stump Marsh. So from up here, you can survey the area, but you can't see much because it's an overgrown swamp. So you can decide which route you want to take. This one here, you'll have to roll to be able to see it. This one is the most recently used one, and this one is an older route. So the team can decide, and you can make perception checks to see if you actually see this route.
I will go for a perception check, but I'm going to say as well at the same time. You know, the old ways are sometimes the best ways. Newer is
Just
not.
ask Oryn.
Newer is not always better. 14.
Oren, don't ask Oren anything. She's in the swamp and she's still carrying that glass in her hand.
Did you not swipe the whole bottle? Well, Lillith can also see Jack Diddley over here.
I think
Okay, so
drinking from that bottle got me into this mess in the first place.
it is a
Okay.
big part of it.
Alpha, you guys are gonna roll perception.
Oh, yes, yes.
Nice.
Alpha would notice the road here.
Good job, Alpha.
The person that can probably see the least.
Well, this one here
Human.
and that one there.
Oren is really shocked.
Oh, it doesn't
I'm
seem
still
like
in
it.
shock.
Yeah.
You would notice both this path here and that one there. Alpha.
Alpha's gonna point it out to everyone.
He's gonna. He's gonna. Gregor's gonna say to him, the path that nobody knows might be good to take, but we would need to cross the river to get to them. It might help us avoid dangers, maybe, because they would obviously be along the roads where there are traffic if they are sabotaging and attacking the caravans and pillaging the farms.
I was about to ask which road would the caravans follow? Because that would probably be where the goblins would be ambushing the
main roads.
caravans, the trade routes.
The main
Okay.
roads would be the ones they're on.
Yeah,
They wouldn't go
okay.
into the Bryanston
So do we want to go and try and find them on their terms or let them to us?
Well, I think we would be better to find them and catch them by surprise and have them find us on the open road where they have been destroying caravans with armed guards.
So true. Also, I'm not sure if I've got the terrain right here, but I mean, if there's a lot of like trees and plants and shrubs, you know, it could give us some cover if we're trying to be stealthy.
That's what Gregor was trying to say as well with the bottom two parts. But we just
Yeah.
need to get across the river to get there.
Yeah.
Marshland is usually not very friendly to people in armor. I'm just saying.
So technically there would be a
So
bridge
we just
here,
need
just
to
so you guys
be
know.
a little bit. There's a so apologies.
A bridge. There would be a bridge across the river.
Yeah, there would be a bridge here. There's small ones in here. I don't know why they didn't just put one on here as well, because there's a main route. So there would be one here.
Maybe a ferry.
I think it would probably be a bridge. It's not
No, it would be. I'm just kidding.
that big of a river or a town close to it or anything.
Alrighty, so do we want to go into the marshlands or just sort of skirt the marshlands to
No, we need to
see if
go,
we can, or maybe see if we can find somewhere where we can see signs of attack? I don't know.
I would say go into the marshlands. Based on what I was told by Alpha, I would advise this over here. It does seem the most well-hidden path.
So as you guys start heading towards the bridge and the other path, a group of fishermen walk back up this route, back towards the main route. Is there anything you guys would like to ask them?
Gregor will ask them, how was the fishing and did they see anything interesting or out of the ordinary?
There's a human that just walks past, and then a dwarf follows him and says, "My apologies, good sir. He is deaf. But indeed, recently we've been losing quite a few fishermen in this area to the Soggy River monster. And recently a group such as yourselves went in here to try and find it. But they never came back. So best of luck out there. I wouldn't say use any path except the new fishing road."
Which one's the fishing road?
The new fishing road is one they just came out of.
Don't use any other one than that, is what he said.
Yeah, yeah.
What did they
They-
say the Soggy River monster looked like? Have they said?
They didn't.
They didn't.
Oh,
They just
okay,
said that
okay.
people have been going missing.
Yes. What was the monster that was said? Was it when we just came into Sandpoint?
The Sandpoint
There
Devil.
was. Oh, okay. All right. Got you.
It looks like a cross between a horse and a dragon.
Yes. Right.
And then he continues on for a bit, and then he says, "Almost forgot. You could always ask old Pride Stump as well, the so-called warden of the marsh. But good luck finding him. Altus Proud Stump." And then the dwarf continues on with his deaf human companion.
Gregor's going to say, well, as if they say we should take this road, but till of disappearing here, I go back to what I originally said. Let's go somewhere where they will not be looking, most probably. But I mean, as a group, we need to work together as a group. I am open to suggestions, and he kind of looks across and goes, Alpha, my friend?
He's gonna agree with Gregor on the route that he pointed out. Was this one?
And
Yeah.
then he'll turn to the rest and go, ladies?
Oryn is going to look at Silas and kind of remember what happened at Ravenmoor when she lost Soot. And
Mhm.
she's going to say, I don't know that crossing this, river where this giant monster is something I necessarily want to do. But whatever you guys think is best.
Gregor will kind of wink at you.
Okay.
So as you reach the bridge here, you see that there are a few guard posts on each side. There's a single guard on each side, and they kind of just wave you along as you walk closer.
So it's a proper bridge. It's not a ferry, right? So we can just walk across it.
Proper bridge.
As you walk, Gregor's going to kind of across the bridge saying, good to see you doing your job. Good to see you protecting the people.
So the guard on the other side says it's a tough job, but someone has to do it. Be safe in your travels. These areas haven't been safe with the goblins recently.
That is why we are here, to do your job for you.
Oh, you are such a, I won't say what, stirrer.
The guard kind of tilts his head and he says, "Well, we've lost quite a few good men to the goblins, but I'm sure their families will agree with you that you are here to do their jobs."
I'll just turn to
What
the
a
guard and say
relief.
apologies for my brazen friend, but do you maybe know where the last attack was?
He looks at you and then he points towards the road you just came from. And he says where the road splits off was one of Maggie's potion caravans, actually.
Oh, my bad. I would also
Potions,
just
potions?
like to add that Gregor hasn't obviously learned his lesson from the last time he was telling off a guard. Ivara knocked him out. Oh, well, I suppose she's not here right now, so he's feeling brave.
Maggie's van, you said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Question, sorry.
Mhm.
In this time if this is taking place now, what happened with Maggie the last time? I can't remember. We didn't kill her.
She's dead.
You
She's
killed her
dead.
and you set her caravan on fire as the horses rode off with the caravan on fire.
Yes, and I took her hat and her jewelry and
Yep.
stuff.
Yep.
Right. So,
That was Magic
but
Meg, by the way.
Oh,
Different
is it
people, but
different
hey.
ones? Oh, are they different?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Okay, I get you.
I hear
I
what
was
you're
about to say,
saying.
I'm
I
like, I
know.
thought they did.
Yeah, no, that was Magic Meg. Someone different.
Not Maggie.
Okay. Right. All right. Okay. I'm with you.
Many,
I'm like,
I get you. Many M's. Way
because
too
I was
many
like,
M's.
what is the timeline for this? Because if we
This
have
is about
already become like fugitives, the goblins.
this is about 3 months after you left the town as goblins to try and find more tribes to join
The
Chief.
lictors.
Yeah, Chief, not doing the lictors, but to join Chief Gutwaddle. What's his name? Gutwaddle or something like that.
Yes. Got
Uh,
what?
Gutwad to try and get more goblin tribes to join them to host an attack on Sandpoint.
Was this before or after we went to find the guy with the fireworks? Where
The
there was like the boat.
fireworks is what they are using
To attack the
that
caravan.
you got are the fireworks that they're using to attack the caravans and to pillage the farms.
Okay. All right. So this is after that storyline.
Yeah, it's about 2 to 3 months after that.
Okay, cool. I'm with you. Sorry. Please carry on. My
No,
apologies.
no, for asking how this all fits together, that's perfectly fine. That was our goal from the beginning, hence why we had to play Weeby Goblins before starting this.
The guard looks back at Lillith and says, any further questions, ma'am?
Do you know how big the raiding parties are? Has anyone actually been able to tell you how many goblins are on these parties, or do they suspect it's the same goblins, or are they doing random attacks? Do we have any more information on this?
They seem to be using similar fireworks in their attacks.
Or
Other than
weapons, I
that-
suppose.
Other than that, we don't know. Unfortunately, anybody who has seen their numbers hasn't lived to tell the tale. All that we've found from the people that have survived is that it was a group of goblins that assailed them from the darkness and took over their caravans, killing the guards and the horses. Anybody else who was unlucky enough to still be in the area.
I was going to say to Lilith, you've been watching way too much crime stuff.
Ha ha. Thank you for the information, and I hope you have a uneventful and a safe day.
He's gonna smile at her and say, "Wish you the same, but with him in your group, I doubt that." Pointing at Gregor.
Gregor's going to keep walking, doesn't even pay attention to what they're saying.
Question: what is between the bridge and where the road starts? Is it like just felt? do the swamps only start there where that like funky avo greeny color is, or yeah,
So
what's
you're
that
asking
area
what's
there?
here. This
Yeah.
is the open plain. And if you look out, you see this is a outcrop. So this is above where that is. So you need to climb down here to get to that road.
Ah, so we're on a plateau then, and
Correct.
then the marsh is further down.
Correct.
And the other roads that snake continuously, they are obviously like built there, but this hidden one that Alpha spotted, you have to sort of do a little bit of bundu bashing to get to it.
Well, you could go down here. Ah, right one third. Down there. I mean that actually has a path down, and we could have gone there or there as well with the same thing if you'd have noticed we'd have known that there was an outcropping that kind of that high.
But now Alpha has got us on this road that is hidden.
Yeah, but if you go down here, understand, if you go down here, and you could walk up here to get in there. DM can correct me on that.
So just to put it into perspective, this is meta information. But traveling through here, this is difficult terrain. This would be a pathway. If you travel over difficult terrain and you get attacked on difficult terrain, you are at a slightly more disadvantage than other things would be. And
Yeah,
it
I
also
would think
takes much longer.
traipsing through the marshland is probably not advisable.
Well, group
Can
again.
we safely get from this plateau across this open savanna here onto the road that Alpha spotted? Yes.
Okay, so as you guys walk to the edge of the plateau that you're on and you look down, you see it's about a 15-foot down before the pathway starts, and you can barely make out where the pathway starts from here. So the only reason why it was visible from where you were is that there's clearly trees and stuff missing, so there is a path here. So it's not a massive fall, but it is a 15-foot fall to the ground.
I think I have rope. If you just give me a seckie, I can check in my rogue kit.
We also have the rainbow shards,
Yes.
which do give you feather fall.
You also have the summon with wings, so she can glide people down and get summoned back to Akari.
Hey, as a rogue, I've got a climbing kit and a 50-foot rope as well, just FYI.
I'd say we use that.
Listen, if Gregor didn't like Oryn before, let me, I should cast the spell Inside Ropes. See how that freaks people out.
Inside ropes.
Yeah, I saw it, Nana, when I was managing my spells. You pull out a large handful of guts from your midsection. Removing these guts doesn't harm you. You can use the guts as you can use it as 50 feet of rope to help you climb. And they
I
can
like that.
help attach you to a wall.
OMG.
I like
I
Okay.
mean, Gregor works with people's insides all the time, so that might be kind of a turn on
I
for
was
him.
going to say, he may latch on forever. Just a FYI there.
So, who's got the best athletics? They'll have to be
Not
handing
me.
down.
Give me a
Check
second.
for you.
Alpha has a
Alpha.
+9 on athletics.
I got Zippo.
I've got acro. Okay, athletics. I've got +5, but I'm plus 11 at acrobatics.
Alpha
Acrobatics is a +5,
and athletics.
+9.
So that one would be the one that we need for the first initial climb down is athletics, not acrobatics.
Okay. So are we going to use ropes, or is
But how are
Akari
you
going
going
to
to use
ask
ropes?
Andariel?
I'm assuming it's that to tie them to, so someone would need to stand at the top kind of as the anchor, as far as I understand it.
Or
It's
are we going to
plain.
ask, is Akari going to ask Andariel to fly us down? I've got a climbing kit, so I assume it attaches somewhere like
Like,
a rope ladder, I would assume.
no, it's kind of like little things that you put into the rock, like you would, like a mountain climber would use.
Oh, rock climbing.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Well, if you guys ask Akari, she's already like the summon's already kind of looking down, flexing her wings a bit. So it's like Akari's already taking this as listen, she's just gonna fly us down.
Oh,
Did she
great.
not also
If-
grow in size and then just pick us up and put us down? Didn't she do that kind of at the hedge there?
She could, but that's gonna take a while to reactivate. So Akari doesn't want to use it for this right
Okay.
now.
Okay, so we can be flown. Not Red Bull, but Akari and Andariel gives us wings in this one.
feel like this could be the perfect time for me to discover what my broom does.
Could be.
Yes, good call.
Specifically put it in here. Maybe if you wanted to nudge, wink, wink, try it out.
I think I'm gonna do that. Oryn is going to probably be looking in her bag for things that could maybe help get down, and she's gonna grab her broom. I don't know how this would go, so I'm gonna leave this up to you, DM, to decide how I would discover this to work exactly. But
I can take it. You kind of take out the broom and you feel like a connection to it. And like a magic word kind of
Doesn't need a
appears in
magic
your
word
head.
to activate.
And as you said, it kind of just hovers above the ground.
Sorry, DM 2.0, it doesn't need a magic word to activate. It only activates in Oryn's hands.
Okay, well, there you go. You take it out and you kind of hold it, and as you let go, it just stays hovering where you let it go.
No, it falls to the ground if she lets it go.
But then how would she know if it things or not?
That's the whole point. She's like, how is Oryn gonna know what it does?
Mhm.
So,
Go ahead.
the rest of the
Excuse
group,
me.
are you all in for Akari and the summons up just flying you down?
Yep, I'm happy.
Okay, so Akari would probably be one of the last ones to go down because she needs to resummon the summon back to her each
The
time.
top.
So who's gonna go first? There's a whole method
The
to the
mighty
madness here, don't worry.
As the
Oh.
heaviest, maybe.
You ready for going down first?
Yeah, sure. Send the biggest guy down first.
So the summon walks up to you and then she doesn't just grab you. She kind of like holds out her arm and says, well, shall we?
Alpha's gonna hold out his arms and like, okay, how are we gonna do this?
Uppy!
So she kind of pulls him into a hug and then just steps off the edge and they float off to the bottom and she lands on the ground and then she nods and Akari summons her back.
Alpha, when Alpha hits the ground, he's gonna immediately pull out his sword, and then just kind of keep it low because we don't know what's down there.
Okay, all good. Who's going to go next?
I'll go next.
Gregor and Gourd.
Gourd will kind of climb up onto my shoulders.
So Andariel does the same with Gregor. First stopping as she kind of holds out her arm and then looks at Oryn. It's just like, this is necessary.
As if Oryn's the
Yes.
jealous type.
Mission first.
Watch those hands, Andariel.
Gregor.
Yeah.
Does he
That's
also
it.
go into the hug or what does he do?
Yeah.
Okay, so same procedure there. Lillith, you're going to be the next one.
Yep, I suppose I'm up. Or shall we see if Oryn can make her broom, do the magic on her broom?
So Lilith, you get down with Andariel, and as Akari summons Andariel back, she's kind of shaking her wings a bit. They're getting a bit tired. So as she summons her back, the one wing kind of clips Oryn, pushing her off of the edge of the cliff. And as you're holding onto the broom, you see you just float. Like you don't
Hanging
fall.
off the rock.
Yeah, you're holding onto the broom, and the broom is like kind of holding you in the air, Oryn.
She's still screaming with her eyes closed. She's just suspended in midair.
Akari
Does
walks closer and is like, "You're flying."
Oryn, you'll probably just hear her screaming like fade out a little bit, and she'll just open one eye and be like, "Oh damn, I'm flying!" And she's gonna look up. I'm assuming the broom is in her hand. She's probably like dangling off of it or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's gonna look up at it, and she's just gonna look at Akari and be like, "This is the weirdest day I've ever experienced in my
Yeah.
life." And she's gonna look at Akari and also just be like, "Am I dead? Is this actually happening?"
I think you're still alive. Akari's going to answer and then just say, "Well, they do say that newlyweds do glow. Maybe it works different for elves. Maybe they float."
Ooh.
Well played, Akari.
Um, Oryn is going to try and pull herself up onto the broom then, as best she
So
can.
as you do that, you notice that you don't feel even your own weight while you're on the broom. So it's quite easy. It's like lifting up your bag, kind of.
She's
Would
like,
Andariel then take Silas and Gore and
The
Akari
goal's
in
already down.
one?
Goal's on my shoulders.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
Gore's on you. Sorry, Silas.
Silas can actually attach to the broom as well if Oryn wants to.
Oryn will move the broom, try to move the broom a little bit closer, and reach out a hand to Silas to try and hold him, like to get him on.
Right, so as you reach your hand out to Silas, you see that a part of the branch grows out almost into like kind of a hook where you could hang a lantern or something. And you almost instinctively know that Silas could probably hang on to that with his leshy hands without it causing any problems. So he'd be like a suspended lantern at the front of the broom.
So cute.
Well, Oryn will just help him then onto the broom, see if she can get him to like sit in some way on top of the branch and just hold on to it a little bit.
Right. So as you hold him above the branch, he wraps his arms around it quite a few times because it's leafy. So he wraps it around it quite a few times, and you can see it's quite secure. And his head stays above it, so it looks almost like this cloak is floating in front of your broom at this stage.
Like a child's car seat.
Pretty much.
How would I go down? Do I just think and then it
It's actually quite easy for you to use. Like you kind of point it in a direction, and you don't know if it's thinking or just pointing in that direction, and it kind of flies in that direction.
amazing?
And then
This
Akari
was
and
a
the
good.
summon glide down to the road as well. So, for everyone on the road at the moment, you see it is quite overgrown, and it seems like this road hasn't been used for years. But it leads into the marsh lands.
Should we go? We need to kind of carve out the any vines or anything in the way, that kind of blocked up or not that blocked up?
So the road is overgrown, but there's no vines over the road. That's how you saw it from the side.
Okay.
Because there's no foliage and stuff growing over the road.
Okay. Gregor's going to kind of motion for Alpha to go ahead.
Alpha will take lead. Chopping and
There we go.
So you reach a bridge, right? And as you head further into the marshlands, you see that the foliage grows so thickly that it almost feels like it's blocking out the sun. And there's always a mist around. Like, it is quite eerie inside this marshland. And there's like distant noises of water or a branch snapping or some sort of creature making a noise, but it's unsettling. And at the moment, you feel almost entrapped inside the marshlands. Even though you know where the road is and where you just came from. And you're currently standing at a worn down bridge, but it leads over what you assume is a deeper part of the swamp.
How far can we see ahead? Instead of being misty and foggy.
About 10 feet. It's not, you cannot see very far into this foggy, misty area around you.
Gregor's going to kind of, well, it does not help much for those of us who want to use ranged weapons. Do you want me to go across first, or would you like to go Alpha? Your armor would weigh a little bit more than I would. Or ladies, if you would like to go, do not want to make any presumptions.
Alpha is happy to lead.
Do you want your horse back?
And if your horse is going to be able to kind of go across here, I think it's a bit narrow for a horse. Just my.
He's not a regular horse, dude.
I'm just saying.
And goblins don't like horses, so yes,
Not at
things
all.
to ponder.
Yeah, I'm kind of with him on that one.
They're not afraid of horses, though, are they?
They're
They
terrified
just
of
they
horses.
hate them. Oh well, it would have been great to have, especially Alpha's horse, the way that he looks, with
Yeah,
teeth like a
yeah.
dog.
On the other hand,
That's a
again,
goblin's worst nightmare.
even though I do say they're terrified of horses, they do kind of
Try to
consider
kill
it a major
Trophy.
trophy thing if you manage to kill a horse or a dog, for that matter.
Well, this is a interesting creature. Yeah, Alpha, it's up to you whether your steed is joining us or not.
I mean, can he?
Yes, you can.
Would he be able to make it across the bridge, though? I mean, how wide is the bridge? You did say
Yes,
it was a
this
bit of
is
a
quite
rickety bridge.
This is a wide bridge. If one
Okay.
square is 300 feet, that bridge could take like all of you walking next to each other.
Okay, well then, let's go.
You said the bridge is quite rickety.
Yes.
Would I be able to see if the broom could stay up even if I'm not necessarily holding it, and I put Silas on the broom, just Silas?
So you let go of the broom.
Yeah.
With Silas still attached to it. It's just a normal
No.
broom. As soon as you let go of it.
Oh, okay, that's not ideal.
Hmm.
Oryn is going to see because I'm more. Yeah. All right. Oryn is going to
Hover above the ground.
It doesn't
Oryn
hover
is
above the
going
ground.
to.
It falls like a normal broom. It's only when
No,
She'll
if
just-
Oryn was still on it.
if Oryn is
Like
on
flying
it,
it.
yes. If Silas
You
is the
said-
only one on it, no.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If Oryn wants to just hover on it with her and Silas just slightly above the ground, that would also work.
Yeah.
You can just hold it in her hand, right? You said as soon as she touches it, it becomes a magic broom.
Correct. It changes into a magic sapling, actually, so it stops looking like a broom.
Well, I'll do that then. I'll hold it in my hand, but I'll walk next to everybody else. Actually, no, I'll be on it because probably the less weight on the bridge, the better.
Mhm.
So I'll
Okay.
I'll just hover on it and I'll move along with the rest of the group. But me and Silas will stay on the broom.
Everyone, please make a perception roll.
Mm,
Oh, shibbit.
um,
The dice are not being kind to me today.
Same as you.
Come on, Alpha, save us here.
Nope.
Oh, spoke too soon.
As Akari walks over, she kind of lets out a small squeak, right? And then jumps away from where you can see there's a hole in the bridge, and you see a clawed hand pulling back down underneath the bridge, and then you hear the water rustling.
And we might need to end there.
That's gonna be the end of this session.
Oh my goodness, dun 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 dun, a session full of very highs and very lows and everything in between.
That was wild. That was wow.
Oryn, how are you gonna tell Sylvia?
I know. Worried that if I ask her to make my wedding dress, that she'll make it like bright orange. Just out of spite.